about, he spoke earlier about having somebody in the midfield that calms the nerve. We haven't got that. We just haven't got it.
And it's not going to be that, is it? When did Arsenal last concede 5 in a game? I mean,
I understand his fear. I understand his fear, because if Arsenal played like they did at the weekend and City played like they did second half Chelsea, there could be a, Liverpool just went there and got done 3, didn't they?
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Former Liverpool midfielder Bolo Zenden agrees with Arne Slot. Liverpool did give a better account of themselves.
You know, at Anfield showed a different character or a different face. They tried, they went for it. In the end, unfortunately, the result was exactly the same.
PSG won 2-0 again. Slot insists Liverpool's future is bright, though. The Telegraph's Dom King isn't sure Slot's future is looking that rosy.
This Liverpool team has lost 17 matches this season. I think Brendan Rodgers lost 19 in the year that he was sacked. So if we're in that territory, then he's on really, really shaky ground, and there's no getting away from it.
Meanwhile, Liverpool are sweating on news of Ekitike's suspected Achilles injury. Tonight, Arsenal versus Sporting is live on talkSPORT. In the Championship, John Mousinho thought Portsmouth had 2 free hits this week. They've beaten Middlesbrough and now Ipswich.
We now go into a game that we're playing against a relegation rival, and that it always felt through the week like it was a must-win, and even more so as we go into the weekend.
As Pompey edge away from relegation, they host Leicester live on talkSPORT this Saturday lunchtime. It's reported Man City have joined the race to sign the next academy prospect from a Palmeiras in Brazil. PSG, Chelsea and Barcelona are also keen on 16-year-old Eduardo Conceição, who's currently tearing up South America's Under-17 Championship. And in an interview with the ECB, Ben Stokes says he's lucky to be alive.
A couple inches one way or the other. Might not be here doing this interview. Yeah, copped one straight in the face. Pretty nasty, but funnily, probably the best result of a bad situation, to be honest.
Stokes was struck by a ball in Durham in February, needed major surgery to sort it out. England face New Zealand on June the 4th. Loads more on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel.
talkSPORT News.
The Chancellor's defended her underwhelming boost to defence spending, and tens of thousands of learner drivers will get refunds. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. You can't trust the weather right now, but you can always trust Pirelli tyres. In stock now at your local centre. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Rain and showers moving east across the country. Showers heavy at times. Warmer in the sunnier spells this afternoon, staying breezy.
Morning, everybody. You're listening to Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy. We're live on talkSPORT. So Liverpool out of the Champions League, beaten by PSG 4-0 in aggregate. Another summer rebuild ahead should Slot be trusted to lead the change. Meanwhile, Andoni Iraola set to leave Bournemouth. How widely coveted will he be across the Premier League? Also today, can Southampton spring their way into the automatics? Does football really need revolution? Will Anthony Gordon be the first of many Newcastle departures? Are Manchester United right to die on the hill of a hairpool? And can Arsenal swap the fear for the fire tonight? Jim White, Simon Jordan, Danny Murphy, we're live on talkSPORT.
100% engagement.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on talkSPORT.
Now, before I ask you what happened to you this morning, because I believe the topic of phone thieves is coming up, Danny, before I forget, I was doing a very brief food shop yesterday in the Lower Marsh area of the city, just beside Waterloo Station. There's a very nice food shop in there. I was getting chicken thighs, courgettes and wild mushrooms. And there was a chap in the queue. Jim, my name's Kenny. I'm a big Liverpool fan. Danny's spot on. We'll have a serious go at PSG tonight, but we'll go out. He says, I tell you about your man Murphy. Really gets it wrong. That was Kenny, the Liverpool fan.
Cheers, Ken.
Cheers, Ken.
Thank you, mate.
I hope you got everything you wanted in that lovely little food store. Now, what about you and phone thieves?
They're little scroats, aren't they? I saw this kid coming down the pavement, and Michelle's always on at me, get your phone out your back pocket. And I just saw him coming, and you know when you can see him with all their blacked out outfit and the helmets. Some poor sod just sitting on the side of the cafe near where you are, having a cup of tea, some little whatever, grabs his phone, and I tried to get my umbrella in between the corner of his bike and stuff, and some fella chasing him down the road. But it's just infuriating. These saucy little sods think they can go around with impunity. They need a damn good kicking is what they need.
Oh, I agree with you. It infuriates me. What did you do with your umbrella?
I tried to get it in the spokes of the bike.
But
I wasn't near enough.
Yeah, but what if he'd have come off the bike and turned
around?
We're
give him a good kicking. That's what we could have done.
You would have, with a bad back.
Yes. With great pleasure.
Yeah, phone thieves. I agree, Simon. It's happening all over London. It's happening all the time.
Till we stop appeasing people in this city and start actually making people have discipline and authority enforced over them, especially the law, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
I do enjoy our political hour in the mornings.
So do I.
It doesn't exasperate
you.
No,
I don't know who they think they are.
Well, I know, and the untold grief that it causes people.
It's just a liberty, isn't it?
It's
just breaking in someone's car, breaking in someone's house is a liberty. But when you watch some saucy little scrote cycling up on a pavement and taking something that doesn't belong to them and with impunity and just getting away with it.
We've got a really good mayor anyway in London.
Absolutely, he's right behind it all. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh well, I know. That's it from us then.
Gives them cycle lanes, doesn't he?
Dear me. Anyway, Kenny, the Liverpool fan, was right about you, Danny, and you were right about Liverpool. As Liverpool dumped out of the Champions League by PSG 4-0 on aggregate. So we may as well leap right into this morning. From survival mode in the first leg to competitive, yes, in the second. But what was it, Danny? Was that a marginal win for Slot or the bare minimum?
No, it was the bare minimum. I think after the first leg performance that you expected to see an uplift in the second, especially with the fans behind him. And I feel for him a bit. Whatever team he picked, he was going to get hammered if they didn't win. It was a bit brave throwing Usyk in for his first start after, 8 months or 6, 7 months, whatever it is. That seemed a bit strange, but maybe he's watching him training and we don't see that. Maybe he thought better to start him and bring him off than bring him on, and then we might have to take him off again. I don't know, but the beginning of the second half was the best spell, of course. And when you're on top of a team in a big game like that, you need moments to go for you, little moments.
Yeah.
Obviously, the penalty didn't, which I thought was
overplayed though, didn't they?
Overplayed.
Looking for balls that weren't there at times, constantly on the edge of the box, looking for that additional touch. I mean, Salah was seemingly in positions of great opportunity, but his touch and his vision seemed to be out at times.
Yeah,
but people are going to say, "Oh, you're going to go at Salah."
Keeper made a couple of good saves, one in the first half, one early second half. You just need one moment and something to go your way. The reality is, over the 2 games, the best team went through comfortably.
Oh, sure.
And they're a very classy outfit, by the way. And I do understand first half. I was a little bit disappointed first half that they didn't go more gung-ho. But every time they did really push on, they got played through, and PSG could have scored first half. So I think they went about the game the right way. The selection was a little bit of a head scratcher. Still amazed he didn't leave Rio in after his performance the other day, and most fans are disgruntled by that still. But even if he had changed the team, even if he'd done it a bit different, I still think we'd be with the same outcome.
Well, the outcome was the outcome, and Liverpool have been beaten in 17 games in all competitions this season, and in 4 of their last 5. So what could Slot say post-match? What did he say post-match? This was him.
We are very disappointed because I think there were parts in the second half where you could just feel if we can score now, this is going to become a special night. And but the future looks very bright for this team, for this club, because we've shown that we can compete with the champions of Europe in our stadium. To be the dominant team, not many teams can be dominant against Paris Saint-Germain and generate so many chances as we did. But yeah, chances is one thing, scoring is a second.
That's about all he could say, Simon, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw Aston Villa do a number on PSG last year on their way to the final and really put the willies up them. I mean, I watched Liverpool, and for 25 minutes of the second half, they absolutely dominated PSG. But at no point did I look at them and think, well, I can see a goal coming. I can see, because Danny will qualify in more football parlance, but I just thought they overcomplicated, they overplayed. They were always looking for that additional pass, almost like trying to walk the ball into the back of the net, because they had PSG in a cleft position. PSG couldn't get out for 20 minutes. They couldn't get out. Every ball that came out came straight back. Liverpool won every second ball, pressed, but it never looked like they were going to create a clear-cut opportunity.
That was it.
And of course, the fact that we can talk about PSG in such lauded, lofty terms. I mean, Liverpool are the champions of England, arguably the most difficult domestic league in world football, that have an abundance of riches of players. So they should be laying a glove on PSG. It shouldn't be something that we take out as a positive. It should be taken out as a given.
I think do you know what it felt like?
PSG are the champions.
Liverpool are the champions of the Premier League, arguably the most difficult domestic league in world football.
It's not the same Liverpool.
And they've been battered.
It's not the same
Liverpool.
By PSG.
They didn't get battered in this game.
Of the Farmers League. 4-0 over 2 legs, Simon.
The first game they got battered, and the golfing class in that first game was there for everyone to see. The second leg, they were more competitive. It felt to me like even if Liverpool scored, PSG could have just gone up another gear.
Yeah.
And that's the levels they're at.
And that's a worry, isn't it?
And the more concerning thing is not in isolation this two-legged tie against PSG, where anyone can go out to them. It's not the end of the world. 17 losses, and a lot of those losses against teams that you would never think Liverpool would lose to.
Right.
You know, it's the level of performances over a period of time that's caused this disgruntlement with the Liverpool fan base. It's not going out to PSG in 2 games.
I want to ask you specifically, Danny, are Liverpool playing with 10 men when Usyk's on the pitch? Was a Champions League quarter-final really the moment for passengers?
I wouldn't.
He had 5 touches in the half that he played.
I personally wouldn't start someone in a game of that importance and with the quality you're up against who hasn't played for so long. I thought it was a real strange one. I don't think he was a passenger. The way the first half was, that they weren't getting that much ball and dominance to get him the ball. And how many times we've seen Haaland have 4 touches and score 2 goals? Centre forwards. That's what centre forwards do. They hover, they wait, and the second half, Liverpool, if he played the second half, he would have had treble the touches because they got more of the ball and they were more dominant.
You know what's required at Liverpool, Danny. How confident can you be that this £125 million outlay is going to come good?
I think if he stays fit, he'll score lots of goals. I don't see that as a problem. He's a class player. You don't lose that ability through an injury. He's a class act.
Depends what the injury's done to him.
He looks fine physically. He looks okay. I think that's just I think he'll be fine. It depends how you judge value for money, doesn't it? If Liverpool finish 3rd next season and he gets 20 goals, but they don't win anything. If he scores 20 goals and they win the league, then it's more impactful. So you say, he's worth the money because they've won something. They won the league. They won the Champions League.
What does history teach us about these big signings? Because I've always got this thought.
They rarely work.
Well, not just that, but they work when they start well. They don't work because now Usyk's looked at in a very different way because he hasn't hit the ground running. He hasn't scored goals when he's been fit. He hasn't been fit. So all of a sudden, Usyk is like, well, what is he? We all know he's a top quality player. There's no doubt about it.
It's a good point, Simon.
But when these big signings get made and they don't hit the ground running, often they go bad. Now, I think his quality is good enough to overcome that. But he's now got to overcome the backdrop of the fact that he hasn't started well. He's under pressure. He's a bit like, I know he was injured. He's a bit like the boy that came from Liverpool to Chelsea. Torres, that all of a sudden went from a player that could score goals, couldn't stop going goals for Liverpool. I know he got injured and he lost a yard, but he was never the same player at Chelsea, and it was almost like a pity vote for him in the end to try and score goals.
I think you're right. Generally, those big ones who don't start well doesn't tend to end well. I think it's a bit different with him. Well, I hope so. There are other exceptions to the rule. I mean, there was a brief spell where Caicedo was struggling and all of a sudden found his strap.
Goal scorers, but not
goal scorers. Okay.
Goal scorers.
Yeah, goal scorers because it's a confidence thing, isn't it?
Totally, it's a whole different. It's the end of the game, isn't it? These guys finished the game.
Well, ironically, this is how football goes, isn't it? There was a time we were sat here talking about is Usyk even going to be able to play because Ekitike's doing so well. God forbid it's as bad as we think. But let's say he is
that right now.
Go on.
Information coming in. Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike faces 9 months out.
Ruptured Achilles.
talkSPORT understands he ruptured his Achilles tendon in the game last night at Anfield. The French international will miss the World Cup.
It's a big shame for him because he's had a really good season, and there was talk that he'd edged his way into the 11 for France. He'd played in the last game, him, Mbappe, and I think maybe Dembele. But the reality is this is part of football, and I've devastated for him because he's on such a good run, a good trajectory. That you don't want any player relevant that he plays for Liverpool.
So going forward, how does the Liverpool front line look? Ekitike gone, and it's still to be confirmed, but out for 9 months, up to 9 months, out of there. Salah's going.
Yep.
Isak's hot and cold. We don't know what we're going to get with that Alexander Isak. How does that Liverpool front lot look like?
Well,
from the end of the season and going into next.
Short term, you've got Gakpo will have to play up there. If Isak's not up to stand, Gakpo can play that central role, although it's not ideal. Then you've got Ngamoa who can come in, Salah can play on the right. You've still got Chiesa there if you need him. There's options. Compared to some of the teams in the Prem, they're not short on top quality. But long term, you mean next season, you'll look, there's going to have to be some form of replacement for Salah, whether it's somebody ghost or two for him. Might be 2 players for him.
Yeah.
But they'll have to rely on Isak. He'll have to get back up.
But they're going to have to go again, aren't they? And they're going to have to go big. And that will be also underpinned by Slot, because it's one thing trying to weather the storm of a dissenting Anfield fan base. It's another thing looking at it in the cold light of day, saying we've got to do another 200 million plus in the summer. Is this the right coach to do it with?
Yeah.
No is the answer.
I know, but what I'm saying is an added factor into the situation whether he can survive
the other side of the break. I mean, another rebuild to come. Clearly, off the back of that news about Ekitike, and just to reaffirm that, it's our understanding here at talkSPORT in the last few moments that Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool striker, faces 9 months out of the game. He ruptured his Achilles tendon, so he can forget Liverpool, and sadly for Ekitike, he can forget pulling on the France jersey at the World Cup in the USA. So all of a sudden, it's a massive rebuild again, is it not? It seems that way. We're going to look at that, the other side of the break, another rebuild to come. And also on that, Liverpool fans, do you trust Slot to remain as the figurehead leading you forward regards to change? Give us a call, 03717 223344. And Tyson Fury, along with Mr. Warren alongside him in the ring, had a look at Anthony Joshua sitting ringside. And Fury honed in on Joshua and said, okay, how about it?
Next, I want to give you the fight you've all been waiting for. I want you, AJ, Anthony Joshua. Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Anthony Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next. Do you accept my challenge?
Tonight is your night, and you know I'll sit across that ring from you in due time. You ain't going to tell me what to do. I've been chasing you for the last 10 years. When you're ready, you come and see me and tell me your terms and conditions, and I'll have you in the ring when I'm ready. I'm the boss. You work for me. I'm the landlord. Remember that. I'm the landlord. You work for me.
Now, I've got to say, Simon, I thought AJ handled that brilliantly.
Yeah, to a point. I think he's absolutely right to not to allow the whip hand to be Tyson Fury's, because Tyson's all pumped up after being back in the ring and having just won a fight. The flip side of it is I don't think Anthony Joshua is the landlord. I don't think coming after getting ironed out by Daniel Dubois puts you in the box seat. You are both the biggest names in British boxing over the last decade.
Wow. Well, just when Liverpool fans were in a state of depression somewhat after going out of the Champions League last night, the news has got even worse in the last 10 to 15 minutes, because it's our understanding here at talkSPORT, Hugo Ekitike faces 9 months out. He ruptured his Achilles tendon in the game last night against PSG at Anfield. He will now also miss the World Cup. So Ekitike is out. All of a sudden, there's a lot more emphasis going forward on Alexander Isak. And of course, bear in mind, Mo Salah is going at the end of the season as well. So it adds up to an awful lot of recalculation for the people running the club and for Arne Slot. Arne Slot coming in for it a bit as well. Simon and Danny alongside me this morning. Many messages coming in. We're going to take your calls 03717 223344 from 10:30 onwards. But there is one message, and it's not all that complimentary to Arne. Let's not use this half-good performance to gloss over the fact that Slot has turned a very good Liverpool squad into one of our poorest teams in many years. Slot's signings have been a disaster, and our whole season was thrown off course by the insane chasing to sign Isak, an injury-prone, overrated average striker, when we were desperate for a defender. Now, that's a Liverpool fan, Danny, who is laying it on thick this morning. Has he got a point?
Well, the thing is, Isak has struggled with injuries over the years. He only had one real full season for Newcastle where it wasn't interrupted by injury, but his quality is obvious. So I understand the chase for him. There is an argument to say, why would you go and get him and Ekitike, because that caused a problem early on. Now, it didn't once the injury happened. The point he makes that I'm in agreement with is the imbalance. I mean, defensively, Liverpool were desperate for a top-quality centre-half after missing out on Guehi. The way they dealt with that, and it all fell through last minute.
You can't have it both ways. You can't turn around and say that football clubs make decisions by cooperative and then not include the people that allow him to make the decisions. He didn't make the decision to sign Ekitike and Isak on his own. He got it supported by the board. He got it supported by the sporting director. Surely someone would, within the confines of that organisation and that environment, would have said, we need a centre-half if we really need a centre-half. So when you want to... And he's not a figurehead. He's the ultimate controlling influence over the football team. Yeah. So the decision you're not making is to keep a figurehead. The decision, if you keep Slot, is to decide that his football direction is the right way to go. But when you're detailing the idea that he alone chose to pursue, this would have been something that would have been endorsed, supported, recommended, and validated by those that actually write the checks out. Because you don't just turn around to Football Manager and go, okay, then fair enough, go spend £250 million strikers.
I get that, Simon, but Slot's involvement in this shouldn't be glossed over. I mean, at the end of the day, as you say, Danny, Isak's had injury problems. But when they get riches like Ekitike, like Usyk, coming into the club, Wirtz, you were raving about Wirtz, Danny. Yeah. It's up to Slot to make the thing tick.
To develop, to get to enhance them.
And he hasn't.
But you can't make Usyk,
and it hasn't.
You can't make Usyk tick. He's been injured. Ekitike has been a success, and Fabio Weiss has started to come to fruition a little bit more than the beginning of the season. He's not been brilliant, granted, but that's as much on the player as it is on the coach as well.
Danny, how much has Wirtz underachieved?
A little bit. Yeah, we expect
a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say a little bit.
You said he was going to be the difference from them winning and losing.
Well, you can't always be right, can you? You make assumptions on what you've seen. The reality is, Simon makes a good point. The people above the way the recruitment team at Liverpool work, like most clubs now, it's a collective thing. And the reality is, I'm not sure Slot would have been ticking the box for Gyökeres and Frimpong. I don't know how much say he's had on a lot of these signings, if I'm honest. He kind of says it without saying it sometimes in the interviews I see. I think.
No, I don't go that far. I think he's had just as much say in it as they have. But what I'm saying is that the idea of just saying, well, why did you want two strikers? Why did the board allow to have him two strikers? If there was such a definite need, can you imagine a manager sitting inside the opportunity with the coaching with the board going, no, I don't want a centre back. Of course they wanted a centre-back. You have to ask the question of those.
I think they assumed they were going to get Gay. I thought there may be a bit of arrogance, but they
overplayed their hand, and they didn't get him at the time they thought they were going to get him for, and Man City stole him and nicked him for 20 million quid. And they could have actually gone again in January and decided to get him again.
Yeah.
But I think it's very easy, because on one hand, whatever argument you want to run, when it's players that have been bought by the coaching staff, it's the manager hasn't got enough control. When it's players that haven't worked out, it's the manager's fault. It is a collective decision to spend £500 million on players. So look at the ownership and look at the control of Liverpool and look at the people that say yes to Arne Slot.
What do you make of him saying now that they've got to sell to buy? Because I found that a little bit strange. Yes, they're going to lose some players, but they're still going to have.
Well, the only thing that can be is compliance. That can only be compliance. The only thing that's something that's even being fed down to him, that they're going to have an issue around compliance and they're going to need to be able to sell to balance the books.
They're going to lose Robertson, they're going to lose Salah. Two really serious players for Liverpool over a period of time for nothing.
They also, it shouldn't be forgotten, they also acquired Giovanni Leone, didn't they?
Yeah, done crucial on his first game.
And he's been long-term out as well, and they spent big on him.
They did,
20-year-old Italian defender.
They have signed a centre-half ready for the lad Gyökeres from France for next season, so they are thinking ahead with that. So that's one box tick.
On Amazon last night, Slot spoke about the summer gone and the summer coming up. We'll look at that. But with another rebuild to come, do Liverpool fans this morning trust Slot to remain as the figurehead, leading the change going forward? Give us a call on that, 03717 223344. Tottenham Hotspur, this mighty club with a phenomenal stadium, we all know that, of course, are looking at heading to Sheffield United, with all due respect, Birmingham, Swansea, Preston, Stoke next season. Is that what's going to happen? Graham's a big Tottenham fan and joins us live. Graham, good morning. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm sorry to say, I think at the minute, I think it has to be. We'd have to be completely blindsided, I feel, to think anything else. I said in amongst group chats with friends that if we, in January, the moment we slip into that bottom three, I don't see us getting out of it. And I think it's got nothing to do, and this alludes to a point that Simon made, I feel, maybe 10 minutes ago, about not necessarily having that quality, because it's clear that the quality hasn't been there this season. It's about having the fight and the mentality to actually pull yourself together, earn the money that you're being paid, and get yourself out of this and restore some sort of reputation that this football club has got. Unfortunately, I feel for us at the minute, we have too many players that have completely checked out. When the going got tough in and around January, February time, when you actually sat there and thought, we're in a bit of bother here, agents started appearing. Suddenly we've got Van der Ven doing interviews with his dad, and straight away you look at that and go, they're angling for moves already. We've got Paulina, who's on loan, who I actually really like, and I feel he's probably the closest one we've got to someone that's willing to stand up and fight and knows what it takes to try and win games of football. But when you look at, we've put up with Mr. Tickle in goal for most of the season. He's come out and He's come out.
So Liverpool out of the Champions League, not in the title race, a trophyless season beckons. Should that spell the end of Arne Slot? Is Tom King.
This Liverpool team has lost 17 matches this season. I think Brendan Rodgers lost 19 in the year that he was sacked. So if we're in that territory, then he's on really, really shaky ground, and there's no getting away from it.
Last night's Champions League exit wasn't as embarrassing as it could have been. The performance from the first leg was at least improved. So says the former Liverpool man at Bolo Zenden.
In the end, unfortunately, the result was exactly the same. It was another defeat, 2-0. But I think, like yesterday, maybe they can still, leave Anfield with their heads up high.
Tonight it's the turn of Arsenal. They face Sporting live on talkSPORT from 7. Now, Portsmouth had 2 free hits against Middlesbrough and Ipswich, and they won them both. Here's John Massinho.
We now go into a game that we're playing against a relegation rival, and that you always felt through the week like it was a must-win, and even more so as we go into the weekend.
Pompey are live on the talkSPORT network again this weekend as they face Leicester in a massive relegation 6-pointer in the Championship. That's Saturday lunchtime on talkSPORT 2. And good news, if Brazil wins the lottery, the drinks are on him.
I'll buy everyone on you. Come on, up, however you like.
If anyone has the numbers, do let him know. Get more at talksport.com.
Southampton flying at the moment in the Championship. Can they spring their way into the automatics? It looks as if they just might do that. A lot to get through this morning, but obviously we're dwelling on the Liverpool situation out of the Champions League at the hands of PSG. Conceded 4 over the 2 legs, didn't score themselves. And now the news coming in here at talkSPORT, we understand that Hugo Ekitike, a ruptured Achilles, out for 9 months. So he can forget it with Liverpool for the rest of the season, obviously. And unfortunately for him, he can forget the World Cup as well. But looking ahead, another rebuild then to come, because Mo Salah's going as well. Do you trust Slot to remain as the figurehead leading the change at the club? 03717 223344. And remember, alongside Simon, we have a Liverpool legend in Danny Murphy. So you want to get your call in? Make your call now. 03717 223344. What a morning for Liverpool fans, and one hell of a lot for them to consider this morning. Before we get to the calls, Slot spoke post-match last night on Amazon, and he reflected on a summer gone and the summer ahead.
I think much is being said recently, and maybe by many people also through this year, that the club is in a transition. We've sold 8-10 players to recoup money to sign 4 or 5, 6 very talented and good players. And now we are losing Mo and Andy Robertson on a free transfer, as we lost Trent on a free transfer. And this model of the club means that we have to sell usually to buy. So it's a big challenge. It was already last season, and it's going to be a challenge in the summer again. But this club has also showed many times that this model works, and we can be very successful with this model. So as I said many times, the future looks really good, especially if we can add a few good signings after good players leaving as well this summer.
Danny, without blowing smoke up an area of your anatomy, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Kenny's one of them. Many Liverpool fans will listen to you and formulate an opinion after hearing what you've got to say. And that's a fact. I've come to learn that on this show. So another rebuild to come. Before we take calls, and there are so many coming in, do you trust Slot, Dan, to remain as a figurehead leading the change?
No, I don't think so. I think it's this season's been a catastrophe, and although I did defend him a little bit before, he is part of that team and process that brought these players in and allowed 10 to go to bring 5 in. The amount of money now that's needed again they shouldn't be in that position based on what they've already done. Just talking about what he said there quickly, is he's talking about the way the club conducts their transfer policies and what word did he use? What
model?
The model, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the model got ripped up in the summer. Liverpool haven't done that for years. Didn't do it under Klopp once. So the model's changed. The expectation changed based on the model changing. The model went, now we're going to go and buy the best out there, the best centre-forward out there, Isak, the best number 10 out there, Wirtz. We're going to spend 250 on those two. Liverpool have never done that. So this is a big sea change in the way Liverpool have conducted business. I mean, if you think on years gone by, getting Mane in at a decent price and him becoming a star, Bobby Firmino, 10 million, Robbo at 8 million. There's only Virgil and Alisson that they spent big on. All the rest were diamonds in the rough. Coutinho, they paid peanuts, 10 million sold him for 100. Over the years, the Liverpool model was completely different to what's just happened. So now, where do they go? What do they do? Do they stick with what they tried and did last summer, go big again, try and get all these superstar players, or do they change back to trying to find these diamonds who can then progress and become a team together collectively?
I mean, Simon, it feels like they've got to go big again. Does it not, to be fair, because of the circumstances prevailing?
No, it seems they've got to buy well.
Yeah, tweak. It's got to tweak.
They didn't,
both.
They paid £8 million for Andy Robertson. When we bring him into a free transfer perspective, you paid £8 million for him. So when you look at Liverpool's finances over the last 3 years, they have lost 45 million quid. They're allowed to lose 105 million quid. So whilst this year will have a greater depreciation because they bought 400 million pounds worth of players, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I don't think he's been given a memo suggesting that Liverpool aren't going to sell players and that their model works upon this way. And by the way, who decided to let Mo Salah go on a free transfer? Who decided to have these situations surrounding players? I mean, Andy Robertson being lost and replaced. And, Mo Salah was bought for 35 million quid 10 years ago. And so this idea that all of a sudden that Liverpool have got a model of these free transfers is just nonsense, because they're on their balance sheet for nothing. They're costing them nothing.
They paid nothing for Trent.
They paid nothing for these players. They haven't capitalised on them because they chose not to. This was not a model. This was a choice. And I don't know what model he's talking about. And interestingly, also alongside him, I don't know what model Liverpool fans are talking about. You didn't win the Premier League for 30 years. How comes this guy gets one season of winning the Premier League, the next year he has a bad season, like Klopp did after he won the Premier League, and all of a sudden he's got to go? It's an interesting one that we've now got a new phenomenon, which is basically you've got no forbearance, you've got no goodwill, no credibility, no currency in the bank. You're a massive football club that everyone admires, but you didn't win the Premier League for 30 years. What did these other managers get then? They got latitude. They got opportunities. They certainly got more than 2 years, 18 months.
Yeah.
He's been in the dock for 18. He's been in the dock for 14 months. He's been in the dock for instance, when he walked through the door. He closed the dock by winning the Premier League, because if he hadn't have won it, then people would have been on his back. Then he did, and when he did win it, it was Klopp's team. Now that he's had to go through a period of transition, and they haven't worked out some of these signings, and they're all culpable for it, he has to go. Whereas other Liverpool managers have had 2-3 years at a time, and have won cups and so on and so forth. This guy's won a Premier League in his first season, and he gets no latitude at all. But he himself doesn't help himself, because he talks in a fashion which disassociates himself. The situation with Mo Salah is a massive I think was a massive diminishing of him, because the player got away with murder. irrespective of what happened or how they brought him back into the fold. What did bringing him back in the fold do for Liverpool? What did bringing Mo Salah back in the fold do for Arne Slot? Nothing.
Yeah, but Danny, off the back of Slot winning in his first season, you've called this season a catastrophe. So you're not giving Slot much latitude.
Well, I did do for quite a while because of the circumstances around everything that's gone on. We've talked about them multiple times, with the players leaving, the Jota situation, all those things. But it's digressed. It's not got better over time. Deteriorated.
To go to Simon's point, then why not trust Slot totally and wholly going forward?
Because I think the majority of Liverpool fans feel that the level of performance and the amount of times where they're losing games, 17 losses is a ridiculous amount for Liverpool Football Club. And the level of performance has dropped off so much that they think it's too risky to leave him in charge and it get even worse.
Yeah.
And because of this disappointment in the new signings that he was a part of, apparently, we think he is, would you then go again with another 250 or whatever they're going to spend with the same people in charge? The argument is, whoever you bring in, are they going to be dictated to a degree, by Richard Hughes, by Michael Edwards? I don't know, because I'm not there to listen to the industry. My feeling is, and it always has been, is that Slot's say on some of these signings was minimal.
It must be. I mean, I suppose the answer is always superseded by who you replace him with.
Yeah.
When I keep on listening to this nonsense, this immature nonsense about bringing Steven Gerrard in. On what basis? You saw, with all respect to his mate, you saw him at Aston Villa. He couldn't do it. And the other fella walked through the door and turned the light on.
I don't think the fans are saying that.
Well, they are.
Oh, we've had some of them on this week, Danny.
I think a few have saying get him in the interim, ready just to finish.
Well, what are the fans saying? Because let me tell you, this morning, as you might expect, the switchboard here at talkSPORT's in meltdown. Darren, big Liverpool fan, you've been waiting patiently. Do you trust Slot to remain as the figurehead leading the change at the club? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I just want to come back to Simon's point where he said about, the kind of why have we not given him as much time as what Klopp had? Klopp finished 7th in his first season, got the 2 cup finals and lost both. Simon, what it's to do with is about emotional connection between this manager and the community. And people would be on side if he was embedding himself with the staff. Social media for Liverpool have obviously done a poor job if he is doing it, because we don't see how he's... I'll use an example. Klopp came back for the Legends match, and all over social media was examples of Klopp talking to people as human beings, getting to know them, immersing himself within the community, understanding the community, doing interviews saying, I went out at midnight with my wife, walking around Liverpool to embrace and feel what these people are about. There's a complete disconnect between the fan base and him, regardless of results and outcomes. And unfortunately, results and outcomes are compounding that, because there's an emotional disconnect with the manager.
That's an interesting point, Darren. An emotional disconnect.
You don't. The emotional disconnect is fine if you're winning games, not a problem.
Exactly.
But Simon did say, to be fair to him, he did also talk about Slot not helping himself in the way he's conducted some of his interviews, and the emotional connection isn't there.
But I didn't mention Klopp. I talked about Liverpool over 30 years and all their managers, right? But I didn't mention, because the caller's saying I referenced Klopp. I didn't reference Klopp at all. I talked about Liverpool not winning a Premier League for 30 years and having a litany of managers. And by the way, where was the concern about the emotional connection last year? You didn't have an emotional connection with him last year.
That's right.
Yeah, and he won the league. So it's not about anything other than the fact he's not won the league this year and they've not performed.
No, he's talking about when things aren't going well. If the manager is more emotionally connected, we talked about it on the show Monday, didn't we? Certain phrases and wording where you don't feel. You said he's distanced himself.
He disassociated.
They're queuing up to join us, I have to say. Paul, big Liverpool fan. Paul, do you think there's an emotional disconnect between Slot and yourselves?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's just not liked. I don't think he's liked by the players either. I think that's why Salah's going. I think Andy Johnson, Robertson hasn't had a fair crack of the whip, I don't think either. But the thing what I wanted to say about was, obviously, Slot, I don't think he's had any choice in picking any players. When Klopp was there, they said to Klopp, we don't want you to be the manager anymore. We want you to be just a coach. And he went, I'm not sticking around for that. They've got Slot in as the yes man. Edwards and Hughes have bought all the players, and it's not worked. And I think it's down to the owners, because ultimately they're the ones who've said, get them in to run the club, buy the players, and the manager's got to be a yes man, and it's not worked out.
Interesting. So when they won the league, with Klopp and they won the league under Slot. That was down to the owners too, as well, was it?
Well, it was the tail
or just the
end
failure,
of
just the
Klopp's
failure is down to owners, is it?
Well, no, because literally what happened was they had all Klopp's players, and now Slot's got his own players through Hughes and Edwards, what they bought, and it's not working out. And I don't think Slot can change it and turn it round. And I just don't think he's not liked by the Liverpool players and also the Liverpool fans. So I don't think how long he gets, I just don't think it's going to work out.
Do you trust him going forward to be the man leading you forward?
No, he just said no.
Paul, no. Is it a flat no?
It's a flat no because, I mean, I'll give you, for instance, we were playing Tottenham. We've got two wingers down the side. They're running down. They're throwing the balls in. There's no strikers on. What does he do? Takes the wingers off and puts the strikers on. It was begging to put the strikers on so that the wingers could feed them. And I'm sitting there thinking, am I watching the same match as he's watching? It's just crazy, the things he does.
Paul, thanks for your call. And on a morning like this, we've got to stick with it. Many Liverpool fans coming to you this morning. We'll take a few more calls the other side of this break. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, and Danny Murphy, live in talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes. It's going to be some summer of change, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Again, yeah, massive. It's. Do
you think Slot might be part of that summer of change?
No chance. Honestly, I don't say that lightly, but the amount of Liverpool supporters I know are on the same page. The hierarchy aren't daft. They're not stupid. Finishing fifth for Liverpool, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. Irrelevant of the mitigating circumstances.
It might get you Champions League.
Well, it will, and financially that's good, but where they're at is nowhere near. They're nowhere near it. They're only going to probably only get fifth because of other teams failing below them.
How many times did you play for Liverpool? You got a rough ballpark figure.
240, 250.
240, 250. So you must have the absolute utmost admiration for Andy. 373 appearances for the club. He came for 8 million from Hull.
Yeah, but the respect comes from not only his longevity, it's the level of his performance during that period. His numbers are phenomenal, and he's been. I think he's been underrated. I don't think he's ever, in all the success Liverpool have had. Yes, there's times where he's had some plaudits, but it's more been Trent.
Yeah,
you know, the front three on the Klopp, all that's the Henderson, the captain, fantastic. Robbo's gone under, and there's the other thing as well. Last thing on him, it's no coincidence Virgil hasn't been himself because he hasn't had Robbo next to him. That's definitely a factor.
So. Heart says Liverpool, PSG.
No, my heart doesn't even.
Good morning once again. It's coming up to 10 to 11 on this Wednesday morning, Wednesday, April the 15th. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy. We're live on talkSPORT. If you haven't heard the news and you're a Liverpool fan, the news isn't good. Off the back of you going out of the Champions League last night, your striker, Hugo Ekitike, faces 9 months out the game. We understand here at talkSPORT, he ruptured his Achilles tendon, and now the French international is likely to miss the World Cup as well. And he is going to. Yeah, not likely, is going to. So a lot to ponder this morning, not least with another rebuild to come. Do you trust Slot to remain as the figurehead leading the change at the football club? Josh, good morning, big Liverpool fan. Where are you with all of this, Josh?
Morning, gents.
Morning.
Obviously, it's been a rough ride this season, but I do feel like this is the season that Slot was potentially meant to have in his first year. I don't subscribe to the very reactionary feeling that if a manager doesn't do well in one season, you just sack him off and you get someone else in, because you're left with the same problem. What do you trust the new guy? Do you trust the fellow who's been in there 2 years? I think it's better to just stick out the course, give him another year, give him the time with potentially a few tweaks, let him get to grips with a new system and give him another chance.
Really? Well, fair enough. I mean, you are you to a large extent saying crisis? What crisis?
Well, I think for a crisis, 17 losses a season. That's not what you expect of Liverpool, really. But I don't subscribe to the fact that you just sack a manager off after one season. I think you've got to give him 2-3 seasons minimum. And the first season wasn't really even his team, as and many Liverpool fans say that. So I think you've got to at least give him next season. Let him make a few tweaks in the summer and see what happens.
Sounds like sense to me, Simon, doesn't it?
Depends if you feel that he's going to be able to avert the course of direction that you're going in. It's one thing being able to explain it. It's another thing explaining to people what the resolution is to it. So we can see what the problem is. The team hasn't functioned, and we can understand that causes a reaction in the fan base. The next question from the ownership is, do we believe that he can get it right? Because unless we do, and we're clear in the vision and we understand where we've gone wrong and what we're going to go right with, then you are in the situation where it's better off to replace somebody because you're not believing in them. Now, if the Liverpool board can see what his vision is, can see what the mistakes were this season, can see why the wheels have fallen off, and believe that he's the person to resolve it, and can see clearly that he's got a clear understanding of what the solutions are, then everyone would have to get on with the fact that they've got a different vision than the fans currently see on the field. But I'm probably willing to wager you that they don't think that, because the way that he speaks in press conferences doesn't give you a feeling that he has a clear grasp of the solutions that might be required, and the relationship that the fans, according to them, are so important to them. It wasn't important last year when they're winning, but it's now important that they're losing. Has to have this connection with them, because ultimately it will get him past losing. It won't get him past losing. He could have a connection with them, be losing, and they'll probably still in this day and age be saying he's not Jurgen Klopp, so he's got to go.
I do think the way a manager speaks and conducts himself is crucial in terms of the likability factor. More than ever these days, because of how many interviews they have to do and social media, and it's reposted everywhere. It is becoming a bigger role for the managers. I think ultimately the problem the owners have got at Liverpool, and you'll know better than me, Simon, you've had the same thing at Palace, but they've got a situation where the pressure on the manager from the fans is big. And the expectation's big. And if it becomes toxic, and if it becomes week in, week out, a really negative environment for the players to try and thrive in, it becomes very difficult, irrelevant of who you bring in and don't bring in, as a player to play under that pressure constantly.
With all due respect to Palace, this is Liverpool, Danny.
I know, but in the same level, if the Palace fans are turning and Simon's there and he's not, maybe he's thinking of sticking with the manager, but it's constant and it's becoming, and all of a sudden you're...
It's a naughty one from me to you. If it was your decision, would you keep him?
I think, well, no. From what I can see from the outside, I'd make a change.
Matthew, what's your take on it? Liverpool fan, do you agree with the previous caller? Give him time.
No. I'll give you 3 reasons why. I've got 3 points I want to say to you. Simon's obviously made the point Liverpool have only won the league twice in 30 years, and that's correct. No Liverpool fan expects to be winning the league every season. No one will be calling for Arne Slot's head. But no one in the right mind expected Liverpool to be 18 points off the top, scraping to finish in the top 5. Through the Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace, a dire performance against Man City. So there's just 4 points that I want to mention. So if Liverpool were finishing in the top 3, say 5 to 10 points off the leaders, no problem. That would be fine. You could live with that because you don't expect, but to be aware for the points I just made, that's why there's cause for this head. But the 2 points I wanted to mention about come is, number one, I all agree that I don't think a manager has overall say on players. I think it's a consortium model. But he must have in his head, right, I've got Usyk and I've got Ekitike. What's my plan? How am I going to get these players and Vert in my team? You can't tell me Liverpool spent 300 million on them players for Vert and Ekitike to be playing on the wing in a quarter-final match. Not a chance. Not a chance. They weren't bought for that. So there's no plan. And to have Rio on the bench last night when he was Liverpool's best player on Saturday, it's shocking. So what I'm saying is when the players are put on the pitch, it's square pegs in massive, massive round holes. There's no plan. It's just like, I'll throw them on and I'm going to hope for the best.
Danny, what would you say to Matthew?
Well, I think in terms of the game last night, that's a good analysis. You know, Ekitike's playing off the right, Vert's off the left. I understand some of his points. It's back to what I said before. What are Liverpool fans seeing that's progressive and that's encouraging, and that's thinking, okay, that's going to come good. That partnership there, that dynamic in midfield works. You know, it is all a bit at the moment chaotic. Now there has been injuries, granted, the Usyk one especially, but from week to week, the formation's changing, the personnel's changing, and the fans are getting like, well, where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And not seeing that.
Yeah.
The Klopp era is very... The Klopp got away with a couple of bad seasons because the fans can see so quickly his identity and what he wants the team to do.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes it didn't work because the personnel wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But over time, you could see the progression.
I'm with you. I'm seeing a bunch of messages from Bournemouth fans. What are we doing after Iraola? We'll get to you. Of course we will. Final Liverpool call from Kieran, who's a big Liverpool fan. Kieran, maybe we've saved the best till last, have we? And you? What do you think? Slot, you with him going forward?
Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. I was at the game last night and it was heartbreaking to watch the team come out with the whole cop was behind them until we saw the actual formation and the players he was putting on. The previous caller was perfect to say it's like square pegs in circles, but it's not. It's chaos. We've got the likes of Robbo who was left out last night, who played brilliantly. And I'm not one to punish Gyökeres, but I'm looking at the whole team there, and they don't know each other. They've got one thing. They've got no understanding of how to actually play with each other. We had Rio. They could have been, but the same formation should have been started as we played against Fulham. We look more dynamic. He's just going crazy. That's what.
And do you think there's a disconnect, Kieran, has been mentioned between yourselves and him?
Yeah, definitely. And I was a big person all season to say, no, we'll stay with him. Things happen, but they're getting worse. I mean, a couple of games ago we had shouts of Alonso coming, trying to get in, and we didn't get that last night. I mean, don't get me wrong, PSG are an absolutely brilliant team. There's no discredit to that side. They played brilliantly, but we fell into their own hands. And that's the thing, we didn't start with the best players. There's no response to Frimpong at the moment in time because he's not got no competition. It's as simple as that. I mean, the Gomez decision last night, nobody knows what was happening with the Gomez situation. Was he injured? Did he come off injured after the game?
Here's Danny. Many questions there, Kieran, but round it up for us, Danny.
Well, the Gomez situation was bizarre. He came on half-time and then came off a bit later. But maybe that was a reaction to going a goal down, to be fair. Things like that can happen. The reality is that, as I said to you before, the majority of Liverpool fans who've been watching them a lot have seen this deterioration of level of performances. What have they lost? 5 in the last 6 or 4 in the last 5? It is deteriorating, not progressing. And I think at the first quarter of the season, maybe first half even, a lot of fans were like, hold on. There's a lot gone on here, a lot of change. let's stick with him. Now, because it's getting worse and they're out of everything and they're not hanging on for dear life to get in the Champions League, aren't they? It's only Chelsea and Newcastle's deterioration, if you like, that's keeping Liverpool there. So
sure.
I think he's, unfortunately, Jim, and it is sad really because he's done winning that league in the first year. I don't see how he stays.
You don't see how he stays. Danny, okay, thank you for that. They could do with a win, couldn't they, Liverpool? God. And Everton will do everything they can this upcoming game to see that they don't get that win. It's 11 o'clock.
One thing I did think, though, was I looked at City at Chelsea yesterday, and when they stepped up the gear in the second half, I thought Gyökeres was fantastic.
Yes,
second
he was.
half as well. He gives you something totally different. But what I was going to say was the depth of that squad, that they can bring on Phil Foden and Savinho. They can leave Mamouche and Reinders just sitting on the bench twiddling their fingers, you know.
Yeah.
I think that squad, Arsenal have got a great squad too, but I just think that squad depth could be the key in the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. Again, they were so impressive second half. I mean, Jeremy Doku, when I'm watching him, Jeff, and I love Liv, the way that every time he gets the ball, his first thought isn't to just step inside and drop it off to somebody else and then go wide again and I might get it back in a minute. Can I travel 20, 30, 40 yards with this ball? Can I beat my man? Can I get beyond him? Can I then produce something? And every single time he gets the ball, his first thought is to get at people and get beyond them. Love that from wide players.
I do love that from wide players because we don't see that enough from wide players. However, it is just his 8th Premier League goal in 4 years. Isn't that wild?
Is that
for someone like Jeremy Doku?
Yeah, really.
7 before yesterday.
Well, again, it's that's a really interesting stat. That is. But and again, for someone of his ability, he should be getting a lot more than that. But he's just such a.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
With your headlines at 3 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. We're told Hugo Ekitike could be out for 9 months with a ruptured Achilles. He'll miss the World Cup. And what does this mean for Liverpool's forward line? Danny Murphy's told White and Jordan, with Usyk off the boil, the out-of-form Gakpo might have to play up top.
You've got Ngamoa who can come in, Salah can play on the right. You've still got Chiesa there if you need him. There's options. You know, compared to some of the teams in the Prem, they're not short on top quality. But long term, you mean next season, you'll look, there's going to have to be some form of replacement for Salah.
Despite another 2-0 loss to PSG in the Champions League quarter-finals, the Telegraph's Dom Kings told us Arne Slot deserves more respect.
I don't want to use the word fraud, but that's the way some people are suggesting about him. He masterminded the league title-winning season last season. He was in charge of that. His tactics were right in the games that matters. He's underperformed this year, but so have the players.
Tonight, it's Arsenal versus Sporting live on talkSPORT. Now, England fans are slating another World Cup rip-off, as reported train fares to the Panama game in New Jersey will cost £74. They usually cost 13. The Football Supporters Association's Fans Embassy are asking what on earth is going on. And in an interview with EECB, Ben Stokes says he's lucky to be alive.
Might not be here doing this interview if I didn't turn my head round. Yeah, so all things considered, although I had pretty major facial surgery to sort it out, it was a bit of a mess under here. I've got out quite lucky.
Stokes took a cricket ball in the face at Durham in February, but he's already putting a plan together for England's Test summer. Fast bowler Bryden Carse is now a doubt for New Zealand in June. He's left the IPL with a hand injury. Loads more on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel.
talkSPORT News.
The Health Secretary says the NHS has a problem with basic everyday sexism, and the AA is being forced to repay thousands of learner drivers over hidden charges. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit, where we've got a wider range of premium tyres than Britain has rainy days. Visit your local centre or book at quickfit.com today.
Rain and showers moving east across the country, those showers heavy at times, warmer in the sunnier spells later on, staying breezy.
Good morning, everybody. 6 minutes past 11 o'clock this Wednesday morning. Wednesday means Danny is with us. Danny was with us on Monday. No Martin Keown. Martin Keown will be in on this Monday, and we'll see how that works out after the Manchester City game. Exactly, Danny. It's Jim White, Danny Murphy, Simon with me, of course. Yesterday, we had kickboxer Rico Verhovven here in studio, the man who has the unenviable task of taking on Alexander Usyk very soon. That is at the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt on the 23rd of May. Also that night, Hamza Shiraz will be fighting the British super middleweight boxer. Hamza will join us very shortly on the show. In the meantime, we stick with football because there's so many stories. So many stories in the world of boxing, yes, but so many stories in the world of football as well. Am I right in thinking, Simon, Andoni Iraola, in the past, he's someone who's caught your eye? Down at Bournemouth, you've been impressed.
Can't not do, can you? I mean, he's done a remarkable job at times. I mean, predecessors of his did remarkable jobs contextually, but he's elevated it even beyond that. The style of play, the manner in which they put some of the biggest teams into their box. They've had players repeatedly sold from underneath them, and yet still managed to produce a talent pool. They've had players sold at the beginning of the seasons, players at the middle of the seasons, and yet the guy has worked the oracle. He started slightly tentatively, didn't he? Because obviously you saw the Gary O'Neill situation where he got bounced out of Bournemouth and everyone thought that was an injustice. This guy came in, couldn't win a game. Gary went over to Wolves. Wolves beat Bournemouth inevitably in that particular game, and everything was looking like a particularly dark day. But he's been brilliant for Bill Foley. Bournemouth's been brilliant for him because it's given him a passage into the Premier League and shown an opportunity to show his trade.
Yeah.
But he looks to me like a manager that's going in one direction, and that's up. The question will be, how will he go when he manages bigger players in a bigger football club that has bigger expectations than Bournemouth, irrespective of Bill Foley saying that they can afford whoever they choose?
Yeah, well, the direction we know he's going in is the exit door because he'll leave the football club at the end of this season when his contract expires. Do you think, Danny, he's going to be widely coveted across the Premier League?
There's no reason why not, because he's unapologetically himself in the way Bournemouth play. If you ever watch Bournemouth play, always better to watch them live, and I've had the pleasure of doing that quite a few times. He sets up his team really bravely to go after teams, even when at times they take a beating or they lose away from home, by 3 or 4 on occasion, because they so go after teams. I've never watched Bournemouth play and not see them have chances and go after teams. And now the reason that suits bigger football clubs is because we've discussed Man U, Tottenham, Liverpool. All the fans expect the bigger teams to be courageous and on the front foot. It's got to be balanced, of course. I mean, maybe Ange was too much the other way, but he's got a great philosophy. And when you watch Bournemouth play, they've got great fitness, great energy, which is part of the job, being able to maximise the physical element of your team. They play good stuff, but they mix it up. They don't just try and consistently play through the lines. When you watch games, sometimes you think, you keep losing the ball trying to do the same thing. They'll go forward. Then they'll play. Then they'll go forward. They've got a lovely variation to the way they play. And as Simon said, there's a degree of admiration for someone who doesn't continually whine about what he's not got and what he's lost and cracks on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, have you
whines
seen?
and moans,
By the way, they lost their best player in January to Man City.
Yeah.
Their run since he's left has been incredible. Now that shows me two things. One, that the quality of players he's obviously got is good, but the way he motivates them and probably talks to them in a positive manner and doesn't dwell on it. And I even remember seeing him in an interview where he was like basically thankful for the time he had with Semenyo and wishing him all the best.
Yeah.
Not, oh my God, we've lost another one.
It's a great approach, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely, it's a great approach. I mean, ultimately, it comes with a different level of pressure and expectations. That it means managers suddenly disappear at their own backsides when they're put in bigger environments, and suddenly they start to revert to type. We see it all the time. Managers suddenly start to get into this territory of blame culture. The biggest downside for him is the job that he's currently in, because it allows people to ask the question: Can you morph from a Bournemouth manager that has a different expectation upon you to a Man United manager? But look at the jobs that are coming up. The jobs that are coming up are Liverpool, possibly. Manchester United are coming up potentially, irrespective of what people think of Carrick and what he's done. I think Carrick is shown up on Monday by Leeds, certainly. Look, I think he could manage
Newcastle, possibly.
Newcastle, again, not that I want to see Eddie Howe out of a job, but you look at it and say, I think this guy, I mean, he's got a sort of slightly Marco Silva feel about him in terms of the capability that he has and the teams that he works with. But I think he's beyond that. I think he has all the attributes of being an elite manager. His only disadvantage is that he hasn't come from another bigger club that automatically prices into people thinking he must be a good manager. He's managed a big club.
That's the point, Simon. Do you think, can you translate mid-tier success to the higher echelons?
Well, the players have. So when we talk about the manager, we talk about Bournemouth players. Where they've gone? They've gone around the bloody world to some of the biggest clubs. And they've been able to translate. So there's a possibility that this new orthodoxy that suggests that when you play for a smaller club, you can't play for bigger clubs, you don't translate. Or when you've managed a smaller club, it might be challenging to manage a bigger one.
It was a challenge for Graham Potter. It was a challenge for Thomas Frank.
Yeah, sure. But that was, you also got to look at the circumstances in the situations that we're talking about with Potter, into a new ownership at Chelsea with a new set of models, with a whole new set of thinking. And Potter was probably the first cab off the rank and probably unwise to be so. And I don't think anyone actually really thought that Potter was the right fit for Chelsea. Thomas Frank, I take your point.
But if you look at all the great managers, most of them, apart from Pep, maybe started. Jurgen Klopp was at Mainz before he then got Dortmund. Then you progress. So there's loads of success stories. Fergie was at Aberdeen.
Well, when they get to the big clubs, I hear you. But when he went to Man United, it was on the back of doing something in Scotland. No one ever thought they could have done.
At a lesser club.
But a lesser club, but one big. Right. So if you look at these other managers and they land at big clubs, because they've won things. Now,
Wenger at Monaco did a good job.
Who did?
Wenger.
Yeah, and that was an extreme left field.
No, I'm actually agreeing with you. What I'm saying is, if you never take if you only go,
you're about 30, 40 years, Danny.
But all right. But if your philosophy is I'm only going to get, so Tottenham went in for Conte because he was established. Mourinho established. That didn't work out. You can't just go for managers who've got.
Can you see him? I suppose the question in your mind's eye: can you see him at Old Trafford or Liverpool? Could you see that manager with that personality? We've seen him very unassuming, very balanced. Can you?
The one thing with him though, there's a lot of talk, isn't there, about Bilbao, Atletico Bilbao, because he was what third, fourth record.
That was his club, yeah.
That's still his club, isn't it?
Yeah. So having said that, one thing that stuck out to me is the owner has been with them every single step of the way, Bill Foley, the US owner. And while they're disappointed with Iraola's decision, it's understood that all parties remain in good terms and that Bournemouth did all they could. And certainly along the way, Foley made consistent noises about his admiration for the man Iraola.
He's a big priority for us. He's an excellent coach, a humble man, but he is serious, and he's a great captain or coach of our team, and he leads the team. I know that our aspirations will equal his. He wants to do well. He wants to develop winning teams, and we're here to support him.
Pretty reasonable all along the way, wasn't he, Simon?
Yeah, of course. But he also said that one of the things he does know is that we can afford what everyone else can afford, which is nonsense because they can't. So that was misplaced in what Bill said there. I mean, for Iraola, I'll give you Glasner. Look at the differences. Now, people will say that Glasner's won something at Palace, so that gives him an attitude and a slightly different disposition. But he got his best player sold out from underneath him. He got Semenyo sold out from underneath him.
Yeah.
During January, and we heard what? Nothing. So they can do it. Managers can behave themselves in a way that's more.
You didn't hear Iraola being abandoned.
No. I wasn't. None of that abandoned stuff. But then again, maybe you have to be a bit of a jackass to be able to get bigger jobs at times. Maybe that's part of it.
I think it's fair to say if a big club went after him, it's a risk because he hasn't won anything, although he's had good spells of the various clubs he's been at. But his win percentage is around 40% throughout.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to a big club, really big club...
It'll be 60 and plus.
Yeah.
Could you blame Kieran McKenna if he is indeed going to be enticed by a consolidated Premier League club like Bournemouth?
There's no way he's going to do it.
He's not going to.
If Ipswich go up, he's not going to jump ship to go to Bournemouth.
He's not going to weather the storm of being in the Championship. He's got, first of all, he's got a similar type of ownership, which is American. They've got plenty of money around them, Ipswich. They told us a year ago how much money they had.
He's loved there, anyway.
And he's loved there. He was going to go. He's had plenty of suitors. And every time it comes up, a club of that sort of ilk, in goes Kieran McKenna's name. And I think that's just a formulaic response from certain sections of the media. I would be very, very surprised if he gets Ipswich up and goes, oh, actually, I've done all the hard yards. I know where I stand. I'm going to be supported. But I tell you what, I'll go to Bournemouth. Who could be a club that finds itself in jeopardy again at some point, irrespective of how good Bill Foley is. And he is good.
Might seem simplistic, but I think from a footballing perspective, the way I've seen Bournemouth under him and the way they play, although they've had some bad spells, it looks like a system and a way of playing that players really enjoy. Because most players, apart from your centre-halves of this world, who want you to have protection around them all the time, want to play that way. And I think at a bigger club, it would suit him perfectly. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, look, the reality is the expectation of fans and clubs' hierarchies now is to win yesterday, not tomorrow.
Well, to finish with, second guess it for me. Will he be spoken about now, Simon, by the hierarchy at Manchester United?
Certainly should be.
By the hierarchy at Liverpool, if they do what many think they might do with
I'd be surprised with either of those two clubs.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't in the thinking, whether he is at the ultimate equation. I mean, if you're prepared to put Michael Carrick in there, then you must be prepared to put to consider, with all due respect to what he's done in recent times, you know, you've got to be looking at other options, going, right, well, what do we got? What have we got? Because I still think Carrick would be the wrong decision for Man United, irrespective of whether he's done well over the recent weeks, you know. And I think Areola would be a very good manager.
Andoni Iraola, not short of suitors, or is he? Well, we'll see in the fullness of time. But certainly we do know one thing, he is leaving Bournemouth at the end of this season. We're live in talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes. Do you think Arteta's too pragmatic, Simon? Is this going to be the difference as to who ends up winning it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he says to the players in the dressing room, but clearly I do think the coach's responsibility is, if he's not actually kicking a ball, it's his responsibility to set the players up mentally and structurally to be able to do it in a fashion that produces the best outcome. And I use the word navigate at the beginning of this section, because that's what I think Arsenal are trying to do. They're trying to navigate their way through games, not impose themselves on games, not take control of the game, not to be bold, not to be fearsome, fearless. Sorry, in their their reaction to circumstances. Now, when they went away to Sporting, it was the perfect time to not be bold, because they were trying to manage a European game, and they got praise from me last week, and people criticised them because it was considered to be a workmanlike performance. But a 1-0 away result in a European game is a good result. Now they'll bounce back tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever they're playing against Sporting, and produce an outcome again. I think everything will be revealed on Sunday when they play Manchester City.
The question is, they'll be bold then when they play City.
Oh no, they won't be daft. No. They'll do what they normally do. The question is, if Arsenal were 3 or 6 points behind City when they played Bournemouth at home at the weekend, what would they have done different? They would have committed They'd have played quicker, more urgency. They would have got more men forward earlier in the game. They would have gone after them.
Feels like Arsenal have something to lose rather than something to win.
Well, it's a bit like Rory with a six-shot lead, wasn't it?
Yes.
That dwindled on day 3.
Yeah. So that begs the question then, who are Arsenal's biggest opponents in this title race? Manchester City or themselves? Just gone 20 past 11 this Wednesday morning. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan, who's still trying to go over this bad back. I see you doing some stretches beside me. Is it working?
Not particularly.
Do you have no sympathy? I mean, he's been struggling for a week or two.
Let me think about it, Danny. No, I don't. And Danny Murphy, and we're live on talkSPORT. Terry and Matt working on a flat renovation not far from here. Good to hear from you this morning.
One of your flats,
we're not one of my properties. No, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not in the same postcode when it comes to Simon Jordan. I'm like Rigsby with the waistcoat on, as I'm wearing this morning. As many people on YouTube.
To be fair, I thought you must be going snooker later.
Here's the thing. We know that Arsenal go in tonight, the last man standing in the Premier League, in the Champions League, as far as English clubs are concerned. They host Sporting Lisbon tonight, 1-up from the first leg. It's live on talkSPORT. But the thing is this, Atletico Madrid awaits them in the semis if they can get themselves there. Is that a better or worse prospect than Barcelona, Danny?
Better. Barcelona at the best can absolutely crucify anybody with the talent they've got. I mean, Atletico have got some experience and good players. I think Arsenal wiped the floor with them early in the season when they were playing well.
4-0 in the group. So
I think Arsenal will be... You can't help it as a player. When you're in the European competition, I remember we made the mistake. I remember us all celebrating when we drew by Leverkusen in the quarterfinals. And this was a Leverkusen side with Berbatov and Ballack, who then went on to be great players. But we were like, well, we'll get through that, no problem. And end up going out. So you have to be careful not to get too complacent. And I'm sure Arsenal won't.
Yeah.
I think it's a much better scenario for Arsenal to be playing Atletico than Barca,
Yeah.
If I was irrelevant of Arsenal being a bit nervy at the minute, I see him in the final already.
Yeah, Simeone and Arteta in a semi-final of the Champions League on the touchline would be interesting, Simon, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Be lively.
But I mean, I think the interesting thing will be their performance tonight. I think they'll get past Sporting.
Yeah.
I'm all my eyes up at Arsenal. Not about the fire and steel and whatever else he's talking about for this game. It's Manchester City on the weekend.
Yes.
This is it for me.
Well, we'll get to Arteta shortly because it is, of course, a massive night for Arsenal. If they can keep their Champions League progress going, then we're beginning to wonder, are they going to win this trophy for the first time ever? We mentioned them earlier on, and I've got to throw it in again. In the Championship, Simon, Southampton, 6 consecutive wins in a row by beating Blackburn 3-0. And they're now just almost incredibly 3 points off Ipswich in second, who lost 2-0
Well done to
at relegation battling Portsmouth. And a lot of the credit goes down to this fella, Tonda Eckert, who's in charge of Southampton at the moment. He's got them moving. Of that, there is no doubt. This was Tonda last night.
It's prime time now. The boys need to be ready to perform. That's what it is. At this part of the season, you step on the pitch and you know you need to perform. There's no more moments where you can crumble. It's all in now, and it doesn't take you anywhere. Like, no matter what I say, it doesn't mean anything. And I know it sounds boring, but it's the only way for us. We just need to stay humble and stay with us. It's such a big game on Saturday. It's going to require a big distance that we are ready to cover, and that's the only focus.
It shouldn't be forgotten, Danny, they're in an FA Cup semi-final as well. They've extended their unbeaten run to 18 games in all competitions. Do you think, have you got a feeling about Southampton? I do now, that they could spring their way into the automatics.
No, I think Ipswich will get over the line with the quality they've got, because they have got a real good squad.
They play Ipswich in the penultimate game of the season.
They do, but Ipswich have got this game in hand, which will give them a cushion when they go into that game. So it might just be one step too far, but it's incredible what he's done. I was just looking at his journey. I mean, he started as an analyst. And funnily enough, I remember working with a couple of different analysts over the years who've gone on to like senior figure roles and technical directors and sporting directors. And the analysts do so much work watching football and like so many games that they kind of get this information or this stored information in their head to go on to do good things. But he's obviously somehow connected with the players. They found something together. The system, the freedom, the belief, the confidence. They found this little match made in heaven that's come from nowhere. Pointed within as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I think the great thing for Southampton at the moment is even if they don't go up automatically, they've got this momentum.
Oh, sure.
And in the playoffs, all the other teams who have been struggling, winning a couple, losing a couple, falling out, going back at Hull, for example, Millwall have been lost their way a little bit.
Middlesbrough losing their way.
Middlesbrough losing their way. So even if they don't go up, you'd have them as strong favourites to win the playoffs, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is what happened, Simon. He was promoted from under-21s coach to interim manager in November. He won 4 of his 5 in charge. He'd never previously had experience as a first-team manager, but he had been assistant at Barnsley and Genoa.
Yeah.
So he's been in and around the game at a more than decent level. And now, for whatever reason, he's got this lot clicking.
Yeah, I mean, you don't question it. I mean, the performances that they're putting in are nothing short of remarkable. I mean, they went to Wrexham a couple of weeks ago with everyone tipping Wrexham to now be their fairy tale story. They're going to get into the playoffs and walloped them 5-1. They've gone into Cup quarterfinals. They've beaten Arsenal. They're beating everyone that stands in front of them. I was listening to the game on Saturday when I was in Spain and they were 1-0 down against Derby. And you just could hear from the commentator that was doing the report back to the Soccer Saturday studio that it was coming. And that Southampton, it was a shock result in front of them, but they were coming.
Yeah.
And look at them now; they will believe that they're in gear. And I think it will be one step too far. I think Ipswich will just have about enough nous to fulfil one of my accurate predictions that they'll get back to the Premier League. But going into the playoffs, who's going to want them? Who's going to want them? I mean, the thing for them is they're likely to finish third with this momentum, and it's about who gets sixth, and that could be Middlesbrough. I mean, Millwall have been very good this season, as much as it pains me to say. So it's an interesting mix. But the playoffs also do take a life of their own.
They do, yeah.
And there is a lot of, you saw Sheffield United go in last year against Sunderland, and you couldn't really see past Sheffield United.
No.
And yet here they were being dumped on their backsides by Sunderland. Look where Sunderland are now.
Yeah.
But I'd take a brave man to bet against Southampton if their form continues and they go into the playoffs.
Would it be fair to say you'd not like Millwall to win the playoffs?
Oh, do you know what? I kind of would to some extent, because as much as I think they're a bunch of knuckle draggers, I do also admire the fact that they are.
Did you hear that, Millwall fans?
They are a football club that's got a lot of passion, and I enjoyed going up there getting loads of abuse because they're the big rivalry between the two teams.
Really? When was the last time you went there?
Not for a long time, but when I was there, I did laugh at it.
Let's bring loads of abuse round to your house tonight. Simon's home address is no. Knuckle draggers. All right.
What does that mean?
Feeling brave this morning, are we? All right, Southampton on the charge of that, there is no doubt. Tonda Eckert we're going to have that fellow on our show sooner than later. You can count on that. He's going to be speaking to us, I think, next week. So we look forward to that. It's 11:30.
Let's talk about the Pards derby. Newcastle came to Crystal Palace. They went 1-0 up, but ended up losing 2-1. Arteta, who's had a good week for Palace, even though he wanted to leave at one point. He's happy to be there now, still kicking the corner flag, doing his thing for Palace, but...
Yeah, he's got this dream of, and he's got this goal to play for France. I mean, when you look, Gyökeres, French, and all the great players they got. I mean, it does look a long shot for him. But if you give him a chance, and he's timed it well, Glasner, he's put him in that European game. They've not been playing well, and he's come to the fore. And they wouldn't have won these two games without him. He's not just the way he plays, it's his personality. I think he's an infectious kind of personality.
Is he better than Dom Solanke?
No, I don't think so. But I think in terms of a presence and a personality in the dressing room, that might make up for a lot of his technical faults, if you know what I mean. But, you can't... He has definitely got minerals.
Delivers as well.
You can see when he takes penalties and stuff, he's out... I don't like to say he's having himself, but he is. And I like that. You need players who've got that about them. And great result for them. Newcastle take the lead, lose. And, one of the things about being manager in Newcastle is that result and that fact that they've turned over a lead again will be absolutely scrutinised to the finest detail and the local radio, local press up there, and nowhere for Eddie to go.
So Liverpool, out of the Champions League, not in the title race, a trophyless season beckons. Should that spell the end of Arne Slot? Is Tom King.
This Liverpool team has lost 17 matches this season. I think Brendan Rodgers lost 19 in the year that he was sacked. So if we're in that territory, then he's on really, really shaky ground, and there's no getting away from it.
Last night's Champions League exit wasn't as embarrassing as it could have been. The performance from the first leg was at least improved. So says the former Liverpool man at Bolo Zenden.
In the end, unfortunately, the result was exactly the same. It was another defeat, 2-0. But I think, like yesterday, maybe they can still, leave Anfield with their heads up high.
Tonight it's the turn of Arsenal. They face Sporting live on talkSPORT from 7. Now, Portsmouth had 2 free hits against Middlesbrough and Ipswich, and they won them both. Here's John Massinho.
We now go into a game that we're playing against a relegation rival, and that it always felt through the week like it was a must-win, and even more so as we go into the weekend.
Pompey are live on the talkSPORT network again this weekend as they face Leicester in a massive relegation 6-pointer in the Championship. That's Saturday lunchtime on talkSPORT 2. And good news, if Brazil wins the lottery, the drinks are on him.
I buy everyone on you. Come on, up, however you like.
If anyone has the numbers, do let him know. Get more at talksport.com.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
And it's that time. Sean Martin from BetMGM joins us. We're going to look back at last night's Champions League games. We're going to preview tonight's action as well. So let's start by doing exactly that, Sean. Good morning. What about last night in the Champions League?
Morning, lads. I actually proposed 3 distinct topics today just for you: Celtic, Rangers, and Hearts. But nah, I'll give you a wee break from the north of the border just for this week. So don't worry, Danny. Don't worry, Simon. Plenty going on elsewhere. First and foremost, not least, the Champions League. Last night's results, obviously, given us our first 2 semi-finalists. As a consequence, PSG moved in slightly to win it all. They're now 5-2, still behind Arsenal and Bayern, who are both floating around the 2-1 mark. Atletico 10s yesterday, they were 7s today now, after that aggregate win over Barcelona. They'll obviously both learn their last 4 opponents tonight over in Munich. Bayern protecting a 2-1 lead against Real Madrid. You're getting almost 4-1 for Real to win the game in 90 and over 5-1 for them to qualify. Bayern virtually been flawless at home this term, 18 wins from 20 games, just the 1 loss, which was a shock one, to be fair, to Augsburg. Real winless in 3 ahead of this and 9 points off Barca in La Liga. But you do, I must say, have to go back 5 Champions League meetings between these two to 2012 to find the last time Bayern actually beat Real Madrid at home, and you can just never rule them out in Europe, can you? And then lots of attention on North London as well. We were talking about this morning. Arsenal 1-0 up against Sporting and heavy favourites to see that out at 12-25 for the win in 90. A massive 18-1 on just to qualify, 15-2 for Sporting to pull that off themselves. Both those prices actually shortened since this morning. They're the kind of spectre over Arsenal at the minute, almost kind of threefold as I see. You've got the poor recent form, key injuries or key players underperforming, and also a different type of pressure overarching, and if they don't get it done tonight, that'll actually be the second time in 3 seasons no Premier League side's been in the Champions League semis, Jim, as well. Look, they made hard work at the first leg, lads. David Raya, man of the match, last gasp winner. You've got the League Cup final loss, the FA Cup loss, Premier League slip-up at the weekend, Rice not trained, Timber and Saka been injured, Odegaard, the captain, looks miles off it at times, Man City away on the horizon at the weekend. If Arsenal do falter tonight or even just stumble trying to go over the line, to what extent can we kind of say that their season's already starting to be derailed? I'm pals with a couple of Arsenal fans and they are getting shaky.
What do you think, Danny? I mean, if Arsenal were to go out tonight, then all eyes are on Sunday.
They won't go
beat
out.
Man City and you'll keep charging towards the Premier League. But all of a sudden, from 4, it's down to 1.
I think they'll be looking at it the opposite way. The positive thing, if you just said to Arsenal at the beginning of the season, you'd be top of the league in April.
Yeah.
And got Sporting Lisbon at home with a 1-0 advantage. In the quarterfinals of the Champions League, everyone would bite your hand off. And unfortunately, because they've had a slip up now, it's becoming a negative narrative. I think they'll go through tonight. If they don't, I fear for their season, yeah.
Okay.
It's that important.
The other semi-final, Bayern Munich 2-1 up, Simon, over Real Madrid. It's finally poised. I find it hard to decide who's going to go through there. Certainly on Jude Bellingham. He goes into this, and a debate seems to go on in Madrid about where his best position actually is. And Jude spoke about that in the build-up to this.
There's no doubt there's been a change. Obviously, the first year we played with kind of a 3-base midfield. I played at the top of that midfield in like a diamond with 2 kind of wingers, like strikers ahead of me. So positionally, there's been clear changes. The second year was a bit more kind of off the left, coming inside. And this season with Xabi and with Arbeloa, I've been asked to play a little bit deeper. So I think, one of my qualities is that I can play in different positions and do kind of different things to a pretty good level. And I think sometimes maybe I'm a little bit of a victim to that, in terms of having to be moved around the pitch if things aren't going well. But yeah, it's definitely a change, and it's one that I've had to get used to. I think when I'm scoring goals, everyone wants me to be involved in the build-up, and when I'm not scoring, everyone wants the opposite. So it's important for me to find the balance, understand what I can give the team, even when I'm not scoring, and hopefully I can just keep progressing, understanding whatever role the manager wants me to do.
So, I mean, this debate seems to go on, not just for Real Madrid, for England as well, Danny. Where's his best position?
His best position is an attacking midfielder. So, in a 3, or as a 1 ahead of 2, or as 2 ahead of 1, because he scores goals. He's a game changer. He's a match winner. Now, could he play defensively? Yes, because he's a super athlete. He can get about the pitch. He can close down. But if you play him centrally as an attacking midfielder, whether it be a 10 or as an 8, that's where he'll win you matches. Like his first season in Madrid that he was talking about. Even the second season, he got, 15 goals or whatever. He is a phenomenal player. I didn't like seeing him stuck on the left at times last season. That's not ideal for him because he's ended up having to help the left back and be in positions on the pitch you don't want him. He is somebody who's got the mentality to win big football matches for you. So, yeah, in a way, I mean, he's diplomatic in his answers there. If I was him and that good, I'd be saying I should be playing there. Like a Lampard, constantly just getting in there.
Do he and Madrid go through tonight? What do both of you think of?
You can never write them off because of what they've done in the past, but I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, for me, listening to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid is like, which disease do I want least? So I'm not that invested in either one of them going through, but I would suspect probably Bayern Munich, given the nature of the first leg and the fact that the second leg's at their place. I think they'll probably be able to do the job.
I did think Bayern, but I now think Real Madrid.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't think the betting suggests that, but yeah, they're more than capable.
Okay. What about the Championship, Sean? Sorry, Sean, finish off for me. Yeah.
I would just because you said you fancy them 11-2 for Real Madrid to go through, so not even just in 90 minutes, just to win, whether it's extra time, penalties, whatever. And there's another Englishman there that could be called a match winner as well. 9.5-1 for Kieran Bellingham, both to score a goal tonight.
9.5-1 for both of them to score. And in the Championship.
Yeah, a couple of big results last night. First of all, Alex Lysons claimed they tipped up the South Coast double at 11-2, but I don't quite recall that making it to air. So in my book, he's still waiting for his first live radio winner, I think. In terms of market movement, Ipswich losing to Portsmouth hasn't done a whole lot to their odds to finish top 2. They're still very, very short. Millwall benefited slightly there into 10s from 12s, but what Southampton's win over Blackburn has done is massively cut Southampton's odds for the same market. They were 25-1 yesterday, Jim. That's come way in to 9-2 today. They are the form team. They have been for a while, Simon. You talk about momentum in that division all the time from first-hand experience. I think you also called Southampton's form irresistible yesterday. It really is. And that odds cut has come despite the fact that Ipswich technically have a game in hand, though I think I'm right in saying by the time they play one another at the end of the month, that game in hand actually becomes the match away to Southampton because Saints are obviously still in the cup as well. So once again, I suppose the Championship delivering right to the very end, isn't it? You still big on Ipswich automatic promotion though, Simon?
Yeah, I don't see any reason. I mean, I know that Southampton, it's in Ipswich's hands, and obviously losing to Portsmouth, who were coming off the back of a good win on the weekend, needing to get points, and have got themselves together to be able to fight to stay in the division and see an opportunity, is not an ideal performance. But notwithstanding it, I still think Ipswich will win the game in hand. That whether it's the game in hand that doesn't become the game in hand because Southampton playing the cup is a different matter. I still think they'll go 4-6 points clear of Southampton. They've got to play Southampton. So even if Southampton beat them in that game, there'll still be clear daylight between the two of them. And I think there's just enough knowledge and quality in Ipswich to have arrested the slump they had a few months ago. Yeah. To get themselves back into automatic playoff spots. I think they'll do it. And I think Southampton have got to be, if they continue this momentum, have got to be the favourites to finish third and then subsequently play the Hull or Middlesbrough or Millwalls of the world in the playoffs.
Yeah, just over even money, Southampton, to get promoted. Like by hook or by crook, whether no matter what way it comes, just 11-10, just over even.
One way or the other. And the golfer in Danny Murphy is looking forward to the RBC Heritage. What are you thinking there, Sean?
Yeah, I'll give you the odds on the RBC Heritage in a minute. But first of all, Danny, not spoken to you, obviously, the Masters. Jason Day went well for you.
He did.
He tied 12. Less said about me, clearly jinxing Bob McIntyre, the better, by the way. And agonisingly, I also backed Shane Lowry 10 places at 40. So that final day meltdown was not good viewing in my house, let me tell you. Loads of the field playing again this week, but what did you make of the way the Masters unfolded, particularly over the weekend? And did Jim give you a message, rubbing it in, that he'd tip Rory as the winner on air at all?
I didn't know if he did or he didn't, but I was pleased for Rory. Part of me watching it wanted Justin Rose to do it with all the heartache he's had. I suppose the only surprise really in the last night, the last 9, was that nobody really kicked. Everyone was nervous. Everybody was kind of, but those 2 birdies he had obviously got him home. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the problem is when you watch the Masters and it's so engaging is that whatever comes now, like the RBC, it's kind of it's after the Lord Mayor's show, isn't it? And it's probably the same for a lot of the players. You know, to get yourself up for it after having the the pressure of those 4 days. So I'll still have a watch, of course, but no, I won't be as engaged as last week.
You're not throwing in a name for us at this stage.
Do you know what? I haven't even seen the field.
All right.
To be fair, it's a good field. Like first of all, I agree with you with Justin Rose. I'm not sure if it will happen for him, but it would be a shame because it does strike me as I don't know why, but it strikes me as a Masters champion type of golfer. Like you could imagine him back for years playing it after he's left the main tour, etc. In terms of this week, after the Lord Mayor shows exactly it, but it is a signature event and there's no Rory in the field, but we've got Scotty, he's 41 favourite. Sander Schauffele's there, he's 12s. Matt Fitzpatrick 14s, the likes of Cam Young, Russell Henley, Tommy Fleetwood all 16s, Morikawa, Ober, Cantley all 20s. Bob and Lowry, they're there as well, 40s alongside Justin Thomas, who's the defending champion as well. So it is a stellar field, Danny.
Yeah. All right. Listen, terrific stuff. Thank you so much. I was thinking on Monday morning, Simon, after the Masters, your prediction of Ben Crenshaw didn't quite come about.
No, they had to exhume him first.
Due to the fact... Oh, no, Ben's still with us.
Is he? Oh, sorry, Ben.
He's 74, but it was a bit of an ass.
Ben and Fuzzy's out of there, weren't
yeah, Fuzzy. He's, I think, departed his mortal coil. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Be gamble aware. Detarg.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Honestly, what's happened, mate? What's happened? You lot are finding new ways to disgrace yourselves. Somehow, in the last 2 years, every week you find another way to embarrass yourselves and disgrace yourselves, and you've done it again. I mean, I don't know how you do it, mate. You lot, you are some team. Every week it's the same thing, yet it gets worse. It's worse and worse and worse and worse.
What do you want?
I don't know what you want to say, mate.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I want to see you lot try and pull yourself away from the championship. Now, what you do? You know what you're doing? You want to go there. Here's what I'm saying now.
What do you mean?
It's at the end of the night, right? You know, the end of the night when everyone's gone out and loads of beers.
Terrible analogy.
At the end of the night, you say to your mates, I'm not having a kebab on the way home. Right? That's what you say, right? I don't want a kebab. Right? I don't want to disgrace myself. Mate, you want kebab. You are that kebab team.
Yeah.
Every single week.
It's the worst analogy ever.
It's not because... No, it's not because no one wants to wake up stinking a kebab. And you lot stink a kebab.
Yeah.
You stink a kebab. Fingers next morning, you know that smell? That's what you do. You got stinky.
at the top of the show, the fellow Simon and I had on yesterday, former kickboxing champion Rico Verhovven. Big night for him, the 23rd of next month at the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. He goes in against Alexander Usyk. And he says, he knows what he's doing, and he'll make the right changes to his approach, Simon, to allow himself to have a serious tilt at Usyk. Whether that happens or not, is he actually says he'll knock him out.
Well, the interesting thing was he talked about the fact that when you come from a different discipline, and specifically kickboxing or taekwondo or those other sports, they don't know where the punches are coming from. They don't see the footwork because they've not seen it before. And interestingly, I was talking to Josh Taylor yesterday on Talk Boxing, who originated in taekwondo, and he was saying when he went into boxing and started sparring some of the good fighters, because of the shape and positions that he took as a result of his taekwondo brief background, it was a real thing. Because, I was sort of looking at him yesterday going, you're going to get knocked into next week by Usyk. I mean, he's very confident and very charismatic to be around. But he also, there might be some resonance in the idea that it's a different ball game.
You didn't upset him at all, did you, yesterday?
I didn't actually.
He was a top lad, Danny, I have to say. The undercard, though, in Egypt is of big interest to us here because it includes Hamza Shiraz against Alan Bejic for the vacant WBO super middleweight belt. Hamza, somebody I've met in the past and a delightful fellow. Now, Shiraz positioned himself for a world title fight after he beat Edgar Berlanga with a round 5 knockout in July last year. So now he goes in against Begic, and we'll see what we can do come the night on the 23rd of May. Hamza joins us live in the show this lunchtime. Hamza Shiraz, good afternoon to you. Good to have you on board, mate.
How's it going? You all good?
All good, thank you, Hamza. How have preparations gone for you then, before you head off to Egypt for this big fight against Begic?
Yeah, it's good. It's good over here in the Emerald Isle. I've done 3 weeks, coming up to 3 weeks now with Andy. Everything's on point, and looking forward to hopefully winning this world title.
How have you got into this space? I mean, I know how you got into this space because you beat Bellingham, and I know why you should be in this space. Why the WBO? You've had opportunities to go for the IBF. You haven't fought since last July. How have we got to the point where it's taken 10 months to get you back in the ring, and also that you're fighting for the WBO rather than the other straps?
Because I was meant to fight for the WBC first against Christian Mbili on the first Joshua card, and obviously with what happened, that card got cancelled. And then along comes Canelo and decides he wants to fight Mbili, so my fight with him gets cancelled. Then I was meant to fight for the WBO against Diego Pacheco. Come to the 11th hour, he pulls out of negotiations, and then I'm left with the fella I'm fighting now. So at the end of the day, I'm just fighting whoever they put in front of me. I said yes to everyone. And it's one of them things. I'm a believer in God, and I believe this is God's plan.
What's his challenge? I mean, you've walked through everybody besides Adamas. I mean, you've been outstanding against Bellingham. You're outstanding against Tyler Danny. You're outstanding against everybody. I mean, a little bit difficult against Adamas, but different weight class now. Maybe you're in your right weight class. What does he represent? What's the challenge from him, Hamza?
I haven't really seen much of him, to be honest with you, Simon. And that's coming from a very honest perspective. I've left all the kind of footage down to Andy. The only time I've seen this guy's name was when it was in the top 10, you know what I mean, with the WBO. So I haven't really seen much of him. If I was to give you a review of him now, I'd be lying. But listen, I feel like I'm experienced enough.
Yeah.
I had 20, however many fights I've had. I think I should be able to deal with whatever they put in front of me.
Looks like he can bang a bit, though. He's got 70-80% knockout record, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's got, listen, I've seen his record. At the end of the day, every man who you knock out takes knocking out. So it's something I've got to respect, and I'll do that.
I mean, the last few months have been somewhat frustrating for you, have they not, Hamza? I mean, 10 months or so out the ring since your last fight.
Yeah, massively. And especially after a performance like that, you think you'd be having fights left, right and centre. You'd be, the world's kind of at your feet. But it's just one of them things in boxing. It's I'd say it's just down to being unlucky, to be fair. That's simply down. It's no one's fault. And it is what it is.
It is what it is. Any concern that there's a degree of ring rust as far as you're concerned? Because this is a world title bout. This is important for you, mate.
Yeah, it is. It is. And there's no real worries of ring rust. And it's because, listen, I live the life. Do you know what I mean? I'm always in the gym, no matter when it is, out of camp, so they say. I'm always in the gym. So it was just more of a mental battle for me. Do you know what I mean? The only thing that can happen with an athlete is when they haven't got a goal, is they feel a bit, I wouldn't say useless, but they feel a bit like there's nothing happening for them. So it was just a matter of staying in the gym, staying focused, and staying sane.
Mentally, does it make a difference to you that it's a world title fight? You've been in one world title fight, as we spoke about earlier on in the middleweights. You're now in the super middleweights. Does it make a difference for you that this is a world title fight? I know it's going to be what you want, and after this, you're going to again go after the other belts, I assume, which we'll ask you next.
You see, if you asked me this question before the Adames fight, I'd say, right, Simon, this is it. Like,
yeah,
everything's been leading up to this moment. I've put so much pressure on myself. I have to win. I have to win. I'll be honest with you. Now it's like what I've understood is it's more about the journey than the achievements for me. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've been in headspace after the Adames fight where I've understood certain things about myself and what I truly value. So not really, it doesn't make a difference that it's a world title fight anymore. It's just a matter of going in there, enjoying it, and really, really living in the moment and cherishing these moments.
You know, this moment that's coming up, Hamza, we had him on the show yesterday, this Dutch kickboxer. What a good lad he was, Rico Verhovven. But nonetheless, Hamza, he's a kickboxer, and he's going to fight Usyk. Yeah. What do you make of that? What do you make of that matchup? He says he's all for it, and he'll knock Usyk's block off. Whether that happens remains to be seen. What do you think of it?
Listen, I think he's going to get absolutely ironed out. That's the truth. But I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you're fighting Alexander Usyk. You know what I mean? Someone who's beat Joshua, beat Fury, not only once, but twice. And it's too much of an ask. You know what I mean? He has got a puncher's chance. We all have, but whether that chance will actually come to fruition, I don't really think it will.
I mean, at the end of the day, God loves a trier, and he absolutely backs himself to cause a major, major upset. But judging from what you've just said, Hamza, no chance at all.
Listen, if I was getting paid what he was getting paid, I'd be backing myself as well. You know what I mean? I'd be fully for myself, and I'd be giving it the spiel and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I get it, he's selling the fight, he's got to do it. But yeah, let's be real about things here.
Hamza, I sat beside you in a flight coming back. Where's it from? Riyadh? Is that where we were?
5 versus 5. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were chatting to me about. I hope I can achieve in this business. I'm giving it my best shot anyway. So if you come past Begic, where after that? I mean, are you looking for Canelo?
You know what? I was, and now it's a case of winning the belt, and then you've kind of got a bit more credibility for that fight, because I remember him or his manager saying in an interview that they're only chasing belts now. So if I get that and they want to fight me, listen, I'm there for the fight. I'm all for it, but it's not something I'm gonna really chase. If it happens, it happens. But at the end of the day, what I would love is to have a kind of unification fight straight after this fight against any of the other champions.
I think that's the direction he's going in. In my mind, I think it's not if, it's when he becomes a world title holder. I think this will be the moment. And then I think he'll go and clean up the division. And if he catches Canelo in the crosshairs, because there's a big money fight, because Canelo brings the cash in the room, good luck to him, because he deserves it. But there's no doubt in my mind that he'll win a world title. No doubt.
Good stuff. Hamza, we wish you well. Hamza Shiraz goes in against Alen Begic for the vacant WBO super middleweight belt in the intriguing surroundings of the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. It's 12 noon.
Out of the stadium on Saturday, and I'm an old school, and I said to your researcher that I think this goes back a long way. It goes back to Arsene Wenger, the last 11 years. we're cowardly. We've got nobody in the midfield. We've got a lovely bunch of players that are all on their own lovely. No Patrick Vieira. Nobody to stamp their foot. No, Patrick Vieira would have been the ideal person on Saturday because he would have got in amongst them. Declan Rice, amazing player. Amazing player. You can't knock him. Zubamendi, great technical player. But every time we tackle somebody, they're picking them up. Are you okay? Are you all right? We need somebody, Simon will probably tell you this in business, you need somebody that can hardball, that can go in and say, that's not working. What are you boys doing? They were all popping Zubamendi out on the pitch on Saturday because he was giving the ball away, to be fair. But this goes back to the Wenger days of turning us into a weak, cowardly club. And sadly, we're going to go up there Saturday. I'll be up there Sunday. I think it'll be 5-0. I've got this horrible feeling that they're going to tear us apart. I don't know what Danny thinks about. He spoke earlier about having somebody in the midfield that calms the nerve. We haven't got that. We just haven't got it.
And it's not going to be that, is it? When did Arsenal last concede 5 in a game? I mean,
I understand his fear. I understand his fear because if Arsenal played like they did at the weekend and City played like they did second half.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Good afternoon, everybody. 4 minutes past 12 noon. It's Jim White, it's Simon Jordan, and it's Danny Murphy. It's Wednesday lunchtime, and we are live on talkSPORT. If you're watching the show, then you're watching us, because we're live on YouTube. We are everywhere these days, even where Amazon Prime Video. You can catch us anywhere. And we're delighted that so many of you do. We're with you through until 1 o'clock. A lot to get in the final hour today, because Arsenal, the last English team in the Champions League and fighting to stay there. They go in against Sporting Lisbon tonight. They are 1 up from the first leg. And obviously, all eyes on this to see if they can get to the semi, to see if they can get to the final, to see if they can win the thing. And in actual fact, nobody better to join Simon, Danny and myself this lunchtime. We're in the company of former Sporting, Braga, Swansea manager, Carlos Carvajal joins us live in studio. And in a moment or two, we will look ahead to Arsenal against Sporting Lisbon. Carlos, how are you?
Hello, thank you for the invitation. I'm fine. I'm really, really very good.
Absolutely great to see you. I mean, we're going to go on to Sporting in a second. Almost a decade, though, since you were managing here in this country. And you were with the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, with Swansea. I mean, you loved your time here. You and I have spoken about this in the past. You loved working in England, didn't you?
Absolutely.
And Wales.
I stay in love with the championship. Of course, Premier is the Premier, but the championship is something that I stay in love with the teams, with the fight, especially with the fans, because I was in the club that is a giant, because they have a massive supporters. Even they will be in League One, but it's a Premier club to me. And a big passion. You saw the last game. I think they play away. They have full allocation.
Incredible.
So it's unbelievable.
Yeah, we're going to get to Sheffield Wednesday shortly. You've been managing in Portugal. Big success, particularly at Braga and Rio Ave. And in Spain, Celta Vigo. I mean, you do not stop. Greece with Olympiacos. You've come back here. I think this is where your heart lies, though. Am I right?
Well, if you ask me, the country of the football is England. So if you ask me with my preference to work in the future, I will set 3 countries. Portugal because of my country, Spain because I'm near home, and England because it's the country of the football. So is my proposal to next season. I have an unfinished job here in the championship. I wish to be here. But it's open also to Spain and Portugal. I believe that one of these 3 countries I will work next season.
It's nice to hear someone of the level of Carlos Carvajal, Simon, coming in here and saying, well, England, yeah, the country of football. I mean, that's music to your ears.
Well, it's music to my ears in terms of against the self-flagellation that we do in this country. But yes, a lot to be admired. I mean, you cannot argue with the fact the Championship is the 4th or 5th best supported league in European football. It houses some immense football clubs, including the ones that he's managed, specifically Sheffield Wednesday, that have got a huge scale. He's got many billionaire owners sitting inside the Championship, which is always the reasons why the Premier are a little bit reluctant to give some more money to these guys that have got just as much money as them.
Yeah,
and it's so brutally competitive. And the support base. I mean, every country's got wonderful supporters. You go to Portugal, they've got wonderful supporters. You go to Spain, I live in Spain for many years, I've seen them. But I think I've always felt that we should be immensely proud of what we've achieved in this country, from the pyramid through to the eliteness of the Premier League.
Looking at this game tonight, Carlos, and we've been talking Liverpool with Danny. We're going to talk Arsenal with you because you've been working as a pundit for Sport TV in Portugal. You were at the first leg, am I right?
Yes.
Of Sporting Arsenal.
Played well, actually, Sporting, didn't
it? What did you make of it? And what do you make of what Arsenal have got to do tonight?
Well, I think they show some strong points and weak points, the both teams. I think Sporting, in my opinion, can do better playing to the sides. I think you remember maybe the first 10 minutes, there one situation on the left that Maxi received a ball and Sporting have a big opportunity in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Was when the Maxi left back go forward. And I believe that one of the weak points of the Arsenal is not when you try to play inside the team, but when you play to the sides. When you play to the sides, they have some problems, special with the fullbacks. This is, in my opinion, the weak point of the Arsenal. And I think Sporting can explore this situation. I don't believe too much in the right side because Fresneda is not ready to play. I believe that we'll play with Eduardo Quaresma. He's a central back that can play on the right. But if Quaresma play, I think Maxi on the left can go more forward, and Sporting can explore this situation. In the part of Arsenal, of course, we can talk about the set pieces because they are really strong in set pieces. But I have the feeling when I saw the game with Odegaard in the midfield that they will play more compact. But because Sporting don't have elements in that game, they don't have a proper number 6. That could be good to Sporting. But when I saw, and I comment this, when Havertz come inside, Havertz or Eze, second striker, and the Sporting without a number 6, I felt that maybe Sporting have a problem. And unfortunately, they score in that moment. Tonight, I believe that Odegaard is not ready. I believe that maybe Eze will play like a second striker. But the Sporting have Ilmans, and Ilmans is a player in the midfielder that covered that space very well. So I think Sporting will be more ready than
the first game.
The first game, even they play away, because Ilmans is the captain and is a very important player to Sporting.
Do you think Sporting Lisbon can get at Arsenal tonight?
Well, I think the favorite is clear. To me, is Arsenal. I think Arsenal have more chances than Sporting. I saw the game against Bournemouth. The confidence of Arsenal is not the best at the moment. If Arsenal play the same way that they play against Bournemouth, Sporting have a big chance to win. If they play with that confidence, I believe that Sporting is that games that don't have nothing to lose. They will press high, absolutely sure. In some moments they will wait for Arsenal. They will try to play in transitions. They will try to explore the side, especially the left side, in my opinion. But if Arsenal play in the best level, will be very difficult to Sporting. And Sporting knows about that.
I think you make a good point on the right side of Arsenal, because Timber's been missing. And there is a chance Timber comes back. And he's a super fullback, defensively and offensively. And if he isn't fit, I agree with you. Ben White's probably struggled a little bit more than we've seen him in the past. And I think that, I think it's bizarre to say with Arsenal's strength in depth, but if Timber isn't fit, I agree, but I think they will.
But also, I think even if he's not ready, I think we'll play Mosquera on the right side this game. Probably.
Maybe.
Because make the team a little more compact. And they are winning. Arsenal is winning. So far, winning 1-0. They will not, of course, go into defence. They must attack.
The other thing is, with Arsenal, with Saka being in, I don't know if he's touch and go for tonight, but even at the game against Bournemouth, I did the game at the weekend. I don't know if you saw the Bournemouth game with Truffert, the left back.
Yes.
Flying forward. So it doesn't really matter who plays fullback if you're 2v1. Madueke was switching off with his defensive work. I wouldn't be surprised to see him switch that up on the right.
Well, of course, Carlos, as you know, they lost that game.
Yeah,
Arsenal.
But I know. I saw the game.
You saw the game.
One thing very important also in the first games, because in that moment maybe the Sporting don't analyze that, but after the game, I'm absolutely sure that they saw that. I confuse all the time Madueke. Madueke is a right winger, but all the time is fixed in Inácio. Inácio is a left central back. That is a very good pass inside. Probably about that, he was fixed in him. And the left back was all the time alone, Maxi. As I tell you, in the first 10 minutes, they explore when he go deep from the side with Maxi. But after, we don't see too much. I think they don't look to Maxi in that game. But I am sure that they analyze the game. And if happened the same, and Madueke try to press inside, he can disturb left side. And left side, what happened? Who fixed the right back is Pedro Gonçalves. Is a very good technical player. He play a little more inside on the left. He's not a winger. He's a midfielder, play on the left. And he fixed the right back, probably Mosquera, more inside. So it's normal that the left back go forward and they have some space. So if Madueke don't help in this case, I think Sporting can be with a door to go inside the house of Arsenal.
Carlos, all you need is a blackboard and a chalk here. We've got the ultimate tactics talk going into this one. Here's the thing, though. As you know, and of course you saw it, they lost to Bournemouth at the weekend. And all of a sudden here in England, there's been a lot of talk of, Arsenal, where are they going? Are they getting shaky? This was Arteta going into this game. Have a listen, Carlos.
I'm on fire. That's it, nothing else. I'm dreaming so much. I've done so much, to be in this position because I know how this club it was. I've done so much against anything that this is beauty. I just see beauty, opportunity, and I want to get it done for all these people that they've been in this journey with us, and because they deserve it, because it's been unbelievable. That's what is driving me every single day. I have zero fear. Fear I had when, if we don't get this done, this club, I don't know where it's going. That was fear. Now, there's no fear. It's just purpose, fire, direction, and conviction that we're going to do it.
He says he's on fire, Carlos. He's got no fear.
Well, this is the point when us managers, we must do something. This is, I will not say desesperated, but it's, we can, yeah, we must do something. And this game is a very difficult to Arteta. Why? Because he can think about manage the team tonight because they have a very important game on Sunday. Happened the same with Sporting. Sporting will play with Benfica. It's a derby of the derbies in Portugal, so it will be a very, very important game to Sporting. But both coaches are thinking in this moment, if I win the game against Arsenal, Sporting Lisbon, I will be ready and more than ready to play against Benfica. If I lose the game, the emotional part will be not 100% absolutely sure. Arsenal is thinking the same.
The knock-on impact.
So to manage players in this situation is very, very hard to the managers. But sure, I have sure something.
Yeah.
The intensity of the game will be very high, and both teams will pay this on Sunday. Absolutely sure, one and another. If they have competence after this game to play in the high level and win the games on Sunday, is not a surprise. But will be very, very tough games to Arsenal and Sporting play the games on the weekend. This absolutely sure.
Sure. You've got
Go
John,
on. If you saw the games when the teams play in Champions League and they have a difficult games after, Real Madrid draw at home. Arsenal lose against Bournemouth. You know, it's very difficult.
There's a pattern
after the Champions League game about the intensity, especially the.
I know a lot of Portuguese people. A lot of your friends are listening to this lunchtime, but I'll put you on the spot. Who goes through tonight?
Sorry?
Who goes through? Who qualifies for the semi-finals?
Will be very difficult to Sporting, I must tell you. Arsenal have a big chance to go.
All right.
Because it's a big advantage. 1-0, play at home. They have everything to go. But this is a game, like the coach of Sporting said, that is, they have a Mercedes and I have a Peugeot. But Peugeot can go to 200 kilometers in the...
A Peugeot. Also. I love it.
This is the reality.
A lot to get through with you. Stay with us. More from Carlos Carvajal after this. And Tyson Fury, along with Mr. Warren alongside him in the ring, had a look at Anthony Joshua sitting ringside. And Fury honed in on Joshua and said, okay, how about it?
Next, I want to give you the fight you've all been waiting for. I want you, AJ, Anthony Joshua. Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Anthony Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next. Do you accept my challenge?
Tonight is your night, and you know I'll sit across that ring from you in due time. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. I've been chasing you for the last 10 years. When you're ready, you come and see me and tell me your terms and conditions, and I'll have you in the ring when I'm ready. I'm the boss. I'm the boss. You work for me. I'm the landlord. Remember that. I'm the landlord. You work for me.
Now, I've got to say, Simon, I thought AJ handled that brilliantly.
Yeah, to a point. I think he's absolutely right not to allow the whip hand to be Tyson Fury's, because Tyson's all pumped up after being back in the ring and having just won a fight. The flip side of it is I don't think Anthony Joshua is the landlord. I don't think coming after getting ironed out by Daniel Dubois puts you in the box seat. You are both the biggest names in British boxing over the last decade.
Arsenal go into this game against Sporting Lisbon tonight, 1 up from the first leg. If they get past Sporting, all of a sudden they're in a Champions League semi-final, but they've got to get past Sporting Lisbon first. And nobody better than former Sporting Braga Swansea manager Carlos Carvajal to have been looking ahead to this game tonight with Simon, with Danny and myself here in studio at talkSPORT. Before we leave this fixture itself, and we've pretty well looked at it in full, Carlos, Victor Gyökeres, a goal-scoring machine in Portugal. Where's he fitting in at Arsenal?
Well, I will say that the characteristics of Gyökeres in Portugal was very difficult to the Portuguese defenders. You know, Portuguese defenders are more technical. They are not so physical, so strong. They are strong and physical, of course, but not like in England. And the way that Sporting play, he was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because he used too much the deep. I play against them. We block them, but we block them with, especially with our right back, because the movements in Sporting is 90% of the movements was center left. So we block with the right. Our right back was waiting for him all the time, so he felt a lot of problems.
Right.
But what is the difference? That if he found a different football, he was here also in Coventry, but it was a championship is different. Yeah. In the Premier League, found a different football with a strong and with pace central backs. So with this kind of characteristics, it was more difficult to him to put the best of him. So he started adapting to different football also, to play more near the area. So I look at the goals that he did in Sporting, and if you look to the goals that he did, or he's doing in Arsenal, it's completely different. In Sporting, ball on the left, you go forward, use the body, come inside, shoot, goal. Here in Arsenal is more near the area, second balls and near in the small area and so on. So completely different goals. This means that is adapted to something different that he lived in the past.
I understand. If Arsenal get a result tonight and progress in the Champions League, they've got to go to the Etihad, as you know, to face Manchester City. What chance do you give them off the back of going through tonight of doing something against Pep City?
Well, I think will be much, much more difficult the game on Sunday than tonight, in my opinion. I think City have something that Arsenal don't have this moment. They have 1 week to prepare the game. They will be fresh. They will be angry. They will play at home. So it will make the things very difficult to Arsenal, in my opinion. Is England? I know that the players usually they play in 3 or 4 days, but I know that small details in this kind of games make a difference. And the small details means that with 4 days between the games, the decisions is not the best. Usually it's about decisions. It's not about the run. It's about intensity. It's about the decisions. You saw, and you do the comments against Bournemouth, Arsenal did a lot of mistakes, technical mistakes that usually don't do that mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
Situations 3-3, 4-4, bad decisions. And this is not about that day. It's about the game that he did 3 or 4 days before, and they are not ready in the small details. Sometimes they score a goal and make a difference, of course, and they are better than others. But against Manchester City will be two dinosaurs each. And I believe that even Arsenal can win tonight or not, but the game against Manchester City will be completely different. It will be very hard. Everything can happen, but will be very, very hard to Arsenal, in my opinion.
Who's going to win the Premier League, Carlos?
I don't know, but...
You were about to say... Go on.
No, my feeling is that all the time when the teams run from the back, when they have the competitions, and the teams run from the back and starting 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place, at the end, usually, they are more strong mentally and physical. They are more... and put a little afraid in the team that go in first place. But this is theory.
You're going with Manchester City, Carlos, aren't you?
In this moment, yes. In this moment, yes. My feeling, yes. This moment.
Okay.
Is my feeling.
I think a lot of people feel that way at the moment.
Yeah. What's happened to Ruben Amorim, your fellow countryman? What's he up to?
Well, I will say that he did absolutely fantastic in Sporting. He transformed the club and the team. Sporting don't play to the title. When he arrived to the club, he changed everything. He did a very good team, a competitive team that stay now fighting to the title and change completely the mood of the club. Everybody has expectations in Manchester United that you will do the same. The thing was not in good way. This happened in football, but this is happening in football. It's not the competence of the coach, because we felt that in that moment what he did in the few games in Braga, but especially in Sporting, that is someone that understands what he's doing, and he can change the things. But this is football. So
one of the things they talked about a lot, and my feeling, and I think a lot of people saw it eventually, is that this rigidity of his formation, certain players not necessarily in their best positions, but he didn't deviate. Like that single-mindedness, which some people would argue is good at times, but because it was so bad and the results were so. Did you find it strange that he wouldn't try something new?
No, I don't feel strange.
No?
I don't know, because he's not a guy to change.
Really?
He believe a lot. He spent some times in Sporting that I think it was not good, and he's still with same system. He didn't change. He adapts something sometimes in movements, but he didn't change. So
but that cost him at United, Carlos.
Yeah, I know.
Cost him dearly.
I know, but there are coaches that are more adaptive, and there are coaches that believe in the way that they play, and they go to the cemetery with ideas.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is,
this is the point.
But the best managers, like Pep's changed over the last few years. He changed the system a couple of times. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, when he sold Coutinho, instead of buying another number 10, they went for 3 athletes in midfield and played a front 3. Even the best managers. Fergie, to win the Champions League, ended up playing Rooney on the left and Ronaldo up on his own, and went and lost the 4-4-2.
I understand you. Makes sense your opinion, but we must respect also also a coach that believe in idea. You understand? Is the guy that was fired, but I respect this kind of coaches also. I respect. If you ask me, for example, my profile, if I will change things, I will change. If one point, if I saw this is not working, I change. I did this a lot in my career. Not a lot, but sometimes in my career. But this is a coach that has a strong personality. He believed in that idea. He was fired, and this, of course, we can put a lot of questions about this. But the reality is that the personality, he believed in that, and I am sure that he go to another club, we'll play the same way. Because he believed in that. He believed in that idea.
We've got seconds left, not minutes, Carlos. Portugal, Group K in the USA. Congo, Uzbekistan and Colombia. What do you expect?
We go to next stage, sure. We'll go to next stage.
Ronaldo ready? Is Cristiano going to be a star of the World Cup?
I don't know if we'll be a star, absolutely sure. Because even he don't play, he's a star. So we'll be a star.
Can you win it?
He has a lot of focus on him, so we'll be a star.
Can you win the tournament?
Portugal can win, but is not the favorite. Is one of the teams that can do something in the competition. We have a fantastic coach. We have a very, very good coach. And you know, from England, Martinez was here in Wigan and Swansea and so on. So everybody's happy with him, especially the players. The players like the coach.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fantastic players in this moment. Too many central backs, full backs, midfielders.
Yeah.
So fantastic players. We have everything to do something special.
Yeah.
Everybody have this feeling, but a World Cup in the
heat.
in
the US,
exactly, not here in another continent.
Yeah.
Can something can.
One thing about you, Carlos, you always love working, and I wouldn't be surprised if after the USA we see you back here, and you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, I must tell you, yes, because I love to be here. So 2 years and a half special in Sheffield Wednesday. I love Sheffield Wednesday. What happened with Sheffield Wednesday make me mad in this moment. But when I saw the fans, for example, in the game against Coventry, give a hope to the club.
Yeah.
I love also to be in Swansea, a massive club also. But it's English football, as I told you, it's the country of the football. This is, if you ask me what you like more in the country, I will say because sometimes my friends, why you said all the time Championship and you don't talk about the Premier? Because I saw it in the Championship, the heart of the football. I saw full allocation in almost the games away. So I saw the people on the pubs, on the trains, go to the games, and this is the really English football. I saw in the Premier.
Yeah.
Sometimes too much tourists, too much photos in
too many tourists.
Yeah,
quite right.
And I love the Championship. So I will say, if you ask to me, but you don't have ambitions because you work also in Swansea, you was in La Liga. Why you are not talking maybe back to? Even I know that is difficult. I have my feet on the floor, but
you'd love to go back to the Championship
to enjoy with my life, and my time of the life. In this moment, I will go to a club.
Carlos, brilliant. It's always great having you here.
With the big fans.
Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Carlos
It's a big pleasure. Thank you.
Wow, does he know the game inside out? 12:30. Tottenham Hotspur, this mighty club with a phenomenal stadium, we all know that, of course, are looking at heading to Sheffield United, with all due respect, Birmingham, Swansea, Preston, Stoke next season. Is that what's going to happen? Graham's a big Tottenham fan and joins us live. Graham, good morning. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm sorry to say, I think at the minute, I think it has to be. We'd have to be completely blindsided, I feel, to think anything else. I said in amongst group chats with friends that in January, the moment we slip into that bottom three, I don't see us getting out of it. And I think it's got nothing to do, and this alludes to a point that Simon made, I feel, maybe 10 minutes ago, about not necessarily having that quality, because it's clear that the quality hasn't been there this season. It's about having the fight and the mentality to actually pull yourself together, earn the money that you're being paid, and get yourself out of this and restore some sort of reputation that this football club has got. Unfortunately, I feel for us at the minute, we have too many players that have completely checked out. When the going got tough in and around January, February time, when you actually sat there and thought, we're in a bit of bother here, agents started appearing. Suddenly we've got Van der Ven doing interviews with his dad. And straight away you look at that and go, they're angling for moves already. We've got Paulina, who's on loan, who I actually really like, and I feel he's probably the closest one we've got to someone that's willing to stand up and fight and knows what it takes to try and win games of football. But when you look at, we've put up with Mr. Tickle in goal for most of the season. He's come out and started flirting back with Italy again.
So Liverpool, out of the Champions League, not in the title race, a trophyless season beckons. Should that spell the end of Arne Slot? Is Dom King.
This Liverpool team has lost 17 matches this season. I think Brendan Rodgers lost 19 in the year that he was sacked. So if we're in that territory, then he's on really, really shaky ground, and there's no getting away from it.
Last night's Champions League exit wasn't as embarrassing as it could have been. The performance from the first leg was at least improved. So says the former Liverpool man at Bolo Zenden.
In the end, unfortunately, the result was exactly the same. It was another defeat, 2-0. But I think, like yesterday, maybe they can still, leave Anfield with their heads up high.
Tonight it's the turn of Arsenal. They face Sporting live on talkSPORT from 7. Now, Portsmouth had 2 free hits against Middlesbrough and Ipswich, and they won them both. Here's John Massinho.
We now go into a game that we're playing against a relegation rival, and that it always felt through the week like it was a must-win, and yeah, even more so as we go into the weekend.
Pompey are live on the talkSPORT network again this weekend as they face Leicester in a massive relegation 6-pointer in the Championship. That's Saturday lunchtime on talkSPORT 2. And good news, if Brazil wins the lottery, the drinks are on him.
I'll buy everyone I knew. Come on, up, however you like.
If anyone has the numbers, do let him know. Get more at talksport.com.
It is now officially Wednesday lunchtime. It's coming up to 20 to 1. I'm getting a bit behind this lunchtime. It's Jim White, Simon Jordan and Danny Murphy. I tell you what, Simon, you meet fewer people with more enthusiasm
very enthusiastic,
than Carlos Carvajal and a love of the game.
He did a great job at Sheffield Wednesday. They were very close to getting promoted with him.
Yeah.
I think he fell out with Chansiri. I think Chansiri weaved his magic with him, but I know that he did a decent job there. Full of enthusiasm. I don't agree with him on the principle of people staying with their philosophies is something to be admired.
No, I
only if you win, because ultimately, if you lose, then you're just a loser with a philosophy. You've got to be able to adapt.
Well, exactly. It's hard to see that it worked out for
That's
Ruben
why I gave
Amorim.
the examples.
But I think he's been diplomatic about an elite manager in Portugal.
Yeah, he probably
because
knows.
he himself said, "I would adapt." Now, adapting and compromising are two different things. No one suggests you should compromise your principles. What you should do is adapt the outcomes to be able to achieve what you're primarily brought in to do as a football manager, which is win football matches. Other than that, if you don't win football matches, you're not worth anything to yourself. You're not worth anything to the people that employ you, and you're not worth anything to the fans.
Yeah, talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Croot joins us live. I think that's true, Alex. Off the back of the chat with Carlos Carvajal there, on Amorim, he just wouldn't adapt, would he? He wouldn't change.
No, he wouldn't. He was too wedded to one playing style that clearly didn't suit the squad, and I think ultimately that was his demise. Michael Carrick hasn't come in to Old Trafford and reinvented the wheel. He's changed to a back four. He's put Harry Maguire back in the team week in, week out. We saw at Old Trafford on Monday how important he is to the team. He's put Kobbie Mainoo in midfield. That's allowed Bruno Fernandes to go and play in the number 10 position. I think Ruben Amorim did a lot of harm to his reputation by being so stubborn.
Agree. I think that's right. I think the only job he'll get is on the Iberian Peninsula. I don't think you'll see him with one of the big other European clubs. He'll land back in the Iberian Peninsula because he's done so well in Portugal.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think you'll see him managing a big Premier League club.
What's your take on Arne Slot at Liverpool, maybe needing to sell before he buys in the summer? What's your take on that, Alex? We've been throwing that around this morning.
Yeah, I know that's been the subject of some debate in the studio. I think he's bang on, Jim, because I think you need to look at the history of the owners at Liverpool, the Fenway Group, that they are frugal, really. They aren't historically one of the biggest spenders in the league. Obviously, they broke their salary structure to keep Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk last summer. In the case of Salah in particular, that hasn't worked out. And they can't catch a break, can they, Liverpool? Hugo Ekitike, one of the few success stories of the players they signed last summer, we reported he won't play now for up to 9 months. He's going to miss the World Cup, so he's going to need replacing next season as well. You've got established players like Robertson and Salah moving on, but I'm not expecting a massive spending from Liverpool this summer, certainly nowhere near like we saw last summer.
Oh, they'll spend. They won't. They're not going to spend 500 million quid, are they?
Well, they're not going to buy any one player for 125 million now.
No, they won't. They're not going to spend 500 million quid. So Alex is right on that assessment. But they're going to spend because if they replace the manager, a new manager's going to have some requirements. So he's not just get.
I don't think they replace the manager, Simon. If they finish in the Champions League places, I think Arne Slot will stay.
You think he won't, don't you, Danny?
I'd be amazed.
You'd be amazed. What next for Andoni Iraola? Bournemouth, a club you know extremely well. He's out of there at the end of the season. What's your thought?
Well, I think it's a big blow for Bournemouth, first and foremost. I'm told they've spent the best part of 15 months trying to convince him to sign a new deal. They offered him the biggest contract they've ever offered any player or manager, and it still wasn't enough to persuade him to stay. He obviously feels like his journey there has come to an end. It is all very amicable between him and the hierarchy, but he's done a tremendous job. Part of the conversation on with Eddie Howe in terms of Bournemouth's best ever manager, particularly if he leads them into Europe this season. Where he goes next, I think is still open to debate. Some people tell me he's now on for Athletic Club, his boyhood team. Some people tell me Edin Terzic is going in there and maybe he might end up at Leverkusen or maybe at a club higher up in the Premier League. I don't think he's made a final decision as of yet. And in terms of where Bournemouth turn next, the name that I gave yesterday was Marco Rose. I would make him the favourite, the former Borussia Dortmund and RB Leipzig manager. I know there's been talk of Kieran McKenna as well, but that's going to be a very expensive deal for Bournemouth to do. He's on huge money at Ipswich. He's got a big release clause as well. So I would make Rose the favourite. And I think that would be an exciting move for Bournemouth. Someone who's won major silverware in not one but two countries, managed one of the biggest clubs in Germany in Borussia Dortmund. And it shows how far Bournemouth have come under Iraola that they potentially can attract a manager with that kind of CV.
One other story doing the rounds this lunchtime. Anthony Gordon for Bayern Munich. Where are we at with that, Alex?
Well, there's definitely legs to it, Jim. I was told yesterday Vincent Kompany is, quotes, a massive fan of Anthony Gordon, someone who was very closer than a lot of people realise, to joining Danny's beloved Liverpool a couple of summer transfer windows ago. Didn't quite happen in the end. And this is going to be, I think, another difficult summer for Newcastle in terms of keeping their top players. Sandro Tonali, I think it's common knowledge that he wants out. Tino Livramento is not engaging in new contract talks. So clearly, I think he feels he may well move on as well. Bruno Guimaraes, I think at this stage would stay, but definitely keep an eye on Anthony Gordon and Bayern Munich, especially with Newcastle not offering Champions League football next season. And what an opportunity for Gordon. He would see what Harry Kane has done in the Bundesliga, Bayern in their own right, one of the biggest clubs in Europe. The £55 million price tag that has been touted in the German media, I think, is a little bit on the low side, but certainly this is one to keep an eye on.
What do you think, Danny? Do you think can you see Anthony Gordon in the colours of Bayern Munich anytime soon?
That surprised me, that one, a little bit, to be honest, because his numbers don't really sit well enough to be jumping to that type of level. I do like him, but when you think they've got Gnabry, Coman, Elise, Musiala, I mean, the list is endless of the quality they've got. So, I'm surprised at that, to be honest.
Before you leave us, Alex, there was a whole bunch of things to get through, but we're certainly getting there. David Ornstein, much respected journalist, reports that Newcastle United's ownership continue to support Eddie Howe, despite the club's struggles this season. All parties intending to evaluate the managerial situation this summer. Anything you could add to that?
Well, first and foremost, Jim, I think our pal David Hopkinson, the chief executive, who obviously joined us when we were up there for the launch of the Premier League darts.
Yeah.
I think he's made a pig's ear of this, to be honest, by coming out and being offered the opportunity to back Eddie Howe and not doing so. I think he's caused a whole lot of conjecture. That's why we're talking about Eddie Howe's future. I've said to you before, and I stand by it, I think if Eddie Howe leaves Newcastle this summer, it's more likely that he'll walk away than they'll fire him because he's got a long-term contract. We know that Newcastle are watching PSL. I don't think they can afford to sack him and pay up his contract, but I think he may well feel at the end of this season that the project has come to an end. I mentioned there that the number of big-name players they may lose. I think the owners made a mess of the Alexander Isak situation. That could have come to a head a lot sooner than it did last summer. The signings they've made haven't really worked out, and obviously Eddie will have to take some kind of accountability for that. But I've always sensed that the Saudis want to bring in a bigger name, a Jose Mourinho or a Roberto Mancini. So if Eddie Howe does leave, don't surprise to see them go down that route. But I don't think it's anywhere guaranteed that whoever replaces Eddie Howe does as good a job as he has to get them into the Champions League not once but twice, to deliver major silverware. I think he might only be appreciated fully by the Newcastle fans once he does leave.
Simon, what do you think? I mean, I think we're all agreed that Eddie Howe, we are backers, we are fans of Eddie Howe. But with the current restrictions around them, around Newcastle United, could they do better than Eddie? Could they go bigger than Eddie?
Yeah, sure. They can get a bigger, a more established manager into people's minds. I don't really feel excited by Roberto Mancini, and I wouldn't feel excited by Roberto Mancini if I was Newcastle. Jose Mourinho, I think, has had his day, irrespective of what I think of him still as an elite manager in so many different ways. Yeah, they could, because a different voice can change things. Eddie's been there for 4 years. Danny will tell you what dressing rooms are like. They don't respond forever in a day. Irrespective of whether players turn over, there's a necessity to change things. I'm not entirely sure why they'd be that compromised by PSR. They've just sold £125 million footballer. So whilst they bought players, those have been capitalised over 4 years, and the value of Usyk has been brought into this year. So I would imagine Newcastle may have some bandwidth to be able to spend money. But the problem they've got, and the problem they will continue to have, is A, they can't bridge the £300 million gap that those that have and those that they want to be, and B, they can't keep their players. And if they can't keep their players, and as much as Tonali is an ungrateful little wretch that should be staying there longer because he caused them problems by being there in the first place when he got banned for the betting staff, he will go, other players will go, Anthony Gordon will probably go, and all of a sudden, before you get yourself an opportunity to build, you're rebuilding.
Yeah. Absolutely. Alex, thank you so much. Alex Crook with us live this lunchtime. We're live with you too on talkSPORT with Selco, where the trade goes. It's going to be some summer of change, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Again, yeah, massive. It's. Do
you think Slot might be part of that summer of change?
No chance. Honestly, I don't say that lightly, but the amount of Liverpool supporters I know are on the same page. The hierarchy aren't daft. They're not stupid. Finishing 5th for Liverpool, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. Irrelevant of the mitigating circumstances.
It might get you Champions League.
Well, it will, and financially that's good, but where they're at is nowhere near. They're nowhere near it. They're only going to probably only get 5th because of other teams failing below them.
How many times did you play for Liverpool? You got a rough ballpark figure.
240, 250.
240, 250. So you must have the absolute utmost admiration for Andy. 373 appearances for the club. He came for 8 million from Hull.
Yeah, but the respect comes from not only his longevity, it's the level of his performance during that period. His numbers are phenomenal, and he's been. I think he's been underrated. I don't think he's ever, in all the success Liverpool have had. Yes, there's times where he's had some plaudits, but it's more been Trent.
Yeah,
you know, the front three on the Klopp, all that's the Henderson, the captain fantastic. Robbo's gone under, and there's the other thing as well. Last thing on him, it's no coincidence Virgil hasn't been himself because he hasn't had Robbo next to him. That's definitely a factor.
So. Heart says Liverpool, PSG.
No, my heart doesn't even. They're not. PSG are here.
You've given up on them because PSG are PSG.
I'd be amazed if they turned it around.
Now, talkSPORT have teamed up with Aston Villa to create a fan zone for all England games for the World Cup. Villa legend, Gabby Bonahor will be there to kick things off at Villa's brand new venue, the Warehouse, for the first game against Croatia on June the 17th, with massive screens as England start their World Cup campaign. Head to talksport.com/fanzone right now, and you can buy your tickets for that. In the meantime, now we know the debate goes on. The hair-pulling debate goes on because Manchester United, we now learn, plan to appeal against the red card given to Lisandro Martinez for pulling the hair of Leeds United striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Here's the thing, for the dismissal to be overturned, United have got to successfully argue to the FA that Paul Tierney made an error in sending Martinez off. Going to get Danny's take on this because this isn't going to finish yet, not anytime soon. Michael Carrick said this about the sending off and the incident.
Shocking decision to send Leach off. It's 2 games in a row we've had decisions like that go against us, but that one I have to say was one of the worst I've seen. So you can elbow Lenny Yoro for the first goal in the side of the head, leaning arm obviously, and then you can throw your arm in Leach's face, and then as he's off balance because of that, and he half grappling, and he kind of half touches the back of his ear, which then pulls the bobble out, which then leads to look like I don't even know what it looks like. It's not a pull, it's not a tug, it's not aggressive. He touches it and he gets sent off, and worst of all, he was actually sent to overturn it, clear and obvious error. It's shocking.
Shocking according to him. Not so Martin Samuel in the Times. Now we know where we stand. Players, coaches, supporters, everybody. Hair pulling may be a playground tactic, but it is a red card offence and a 3-match ban. Got that? Good. Now we can move on. Do you move on from it, Danny?
Carrick's spot on.
He's right, isn't he?
He's the heck. He's jumped up for an header. He's not even looking at the ball, and his hand scrapes down the back of his back and catches the little bobble in his hair.
Oh, hang on.
It's never, ever a sending off in a million years. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. It's a ridiculous decision. He's spot on, and it should be overturned. All you've got to do is watch it back. He's not even looking where his hand is.
I
He's
haven't
jumping
watched it back.
Well,
his head gets pulled back.
This is where I'm going to go to the obvious. Any professional footballer says that's a red card, I'd be amazed, gobsmacked. You could say a letter of law and they've misinterpreted it, accidental because he sees something, but he's not even looking at the man as his hand falls down
as
the
the
back.
rules stand,
There's
Danny,
no aggression. There's no intent.
As the rules stand,
no, right?
It constitutes violent conduct.
It shouldn't do,
and that equals a red card.
No, because even with the rule the way it is, the referee should see that for what it is—a complete accident. His hand is out because he's jumping, and it's as he kind of, as you do when someone's there, you kind of push or grab just to make protection.
You're saying that Martinez accidentally pulled Calvert-Lewin's hair.
He didn't even pull it. It's just a little stroke across the back of his head. It's come on. We have, the game has gone if we've got that as a 3-game ban. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Is the game gone if they don't give him a 3-match ban?
No.
Because then they're not going by the rules.
Well, it's your interpretation of the rules. It's the same old argument for everything we look at. No, they're not. This is the thing. That's why we sit here week in, week out and go, that handball shouldn't have been, and that the law says it is, and the law says it. It's the interpretation of the law that the referees have. That is not a sending off. Look, the more worrying thing for United is they're 2-0 down, I think, when that happens. That's anyway. Right. You know, and the fact is they miss Maguire, they miss Mainu, which had a big impact, and that's worrying for them as a squad and as a bigger picture. That in it on its own, you get bad decisions, you got to take it on the chin, appeal it, don't appeal it, doesn't really matter.
You're not with Daniel on this.
No, I'm not. I think his intention was to pull something. I don't think his intention was to pull his hair. So, in an ideal world, he'd grabbed his shirt. In his ideal world, because grabbing a shirt is acceptable. In any walk of life, in football, they shouldn't be pulling at shirts or pulling at hair. So I think he was pulling at something. I think it's unfortunate. I don't think he particularly yanked at his hair in the same way that we saw Cucurella got his hair pulled.
Exactly.
But the fact is, he did yank at something. Now, probably his intention was to pull his shirt, but that doesn't make it any better. So if he went to pull his shirt, then the answer should be, don't go pull his shirt either.
It's not even a pull there. It's like a gestured
we can't really see it. So he's put himself in the way of a decision, and the rule might be a bit over the top. I mean, I don't think it's a situation where you can compare that to other violent conduct and say they're parallels. Do I think he should have got sent off because the rule says he should get sent off? Yes. Do I think that rule should carry a 3-game ban? Probably not.
I mean, no matter what, Danny, he's dumped his club and his teammates in it.
He hasn't. He's gone up for an header.
Well, he faces the prospect of a 3-match ban.
Yeah, but Danny's saying he didn't do it. There's no merit to the argument. He's saying that he was lucky to have even been there. It was unfortunate Calvert was in his way. I mean, ultimately, he didn't mean to do it at all. There was no intention behind it. He wasn't trying to pull anything, and there's nothing to be seen here.
Would you be saying this, Danny, if you had hair? I know I've got a bit personal this lunchtime with that, but at the end of the day, they're on to plums here. They're not. Are they going to appeal successfully against the red card?
God knows. Who knows? I don't know. Probably not. Knowing the, I don't know. Maybe Howard and the boys will see sense. I hope so. That's not a sense.
It was a VAR decision, so there must be some degree of technicality in this that might be able to create an outcome, which is that the rule was designed.
Well, they can assume intent, can't they?
The rule was designed for the referee on the field to send them off rather than something like this to be. And there'll be some technicality that they're going to try and argue that gives them either a reduced sentence or some form of
There's no way you could say on that showing that he's deliberately pulled his hair.
Are Manchester United really going to die on the hill of hair pulling? It would seem they are. Danny, I thank you on that one. I disagree with you, but I thank you as always, my friend. Nobody better. As for you, mañana at 10. This Wednesday lunchtime, we're coming up to 1 o'clock.
One thing I did think, though, was I looked at City at Chelsea yesterday, and when they stepped up a gear in the second half, I thought Cherky was fantastic.
Yes,
second
he was.
half as well. He gives you something totally different. But what I was going to say was the depth of that squad, that they can bring on Phil Foden and Savinho. They can leave Mamouche and Reinders sitting on the bench twiddling their fingers, you know.
Yeah.
I think that squad, Arsenal have got a great squad too, but I just think that squad depth